Welcome everybody. How you doing? Great to have you aboard. We're going to do a listing show tonight. First time in quite a long while. So thanks again for everybody coming in tonight. Say hi. I see rainbows. I see an iguana. What's up, Mike? I don't know what that is. Hey, CJ, welcome in. Like button. Yeah, please do hit that like button and get your Jiminy dust. Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you. Hi, Karen. Good evening to you. Good evening, everybody. Yeah, welcome back to me. And it's been a long time coming, but we've been incredibly busy, as I sort of alluded to on the New Year's show, which is the last time I spoke with everybody quickly, 3 weeks ago, shockingly. What's up, Jim? January's been a whirlwind. We did 10 shows or something, and already this month, and a lot of travel out in the Midwest. Had the pleasure of meeting Mark, SM Postcards, and his wife at our show in Chicago. It was really cool to meet him in person. We got to hang out for a few minutes and everything in a nice casual atmosphere. And he was kind enough to watch the show. Had a great time. Really nice venue. It's called the City Winery out in Chicago. So highly recommend it if you're in that area. Go check it out. Nice place to have dinner, some wine, and enjoy good live music. So really good stuff. It's great to be back home, though, to be honest with you, because we were gone long time, and a lot of driving. In the bitter cold, it was -5 degrees the day we were in Chicago last Tuesday, and then it didn't really get much better than that for the duration of the trip. So I am grateful to be back home, settled in. We'll be going out again, but the January long tours appear to be done now that we have about a week and a half left of the month, and then we'll head back out in February and March. So again, enough about me. Thanks for coming in, folks. I really missed everybody, and I missed doing the show. So it's great to see. Hi, Lisa. How you doing? It's great to see everybody come in. I appreciate it. Hi, Outlaw. How you doing? Carrie from Outlaw Films. Hope you had a nice New Year. Thank you very much. Yes, I did have a nice New Year. What's up, Kelly? How you doing? Get out. Did you get your scanner? Very good, man. Congratulations. Enjoy it. There he is. What's up, Mark? Just talking about you. Really nice to meet you and your wife. Thanks very much for coming out to the show. Yeah, A3. That's a big upgrade, man. Good luck. Dawn, it's going to take me to pay it off, though. Stupid expensive. Yeah, but I think you'll make your money back in spades with the print ads. Icy, Missouri. Jania. What a beautiful name. Hi, Jania. We spent 2 or 3 days in Missouri, and yes, it was freezing. We were in St. Louis. We stayed in a town called Perryville overnight. Had one of the best breakfasts of my life in Perryville, a little small, sleepy town in the middle of Missouri. So great to have you, Jania. Thank you for coming in. Yeah, welcome aboard, everybody. Oh, thank you. Yeah, it was a lot of fun, and I was shocked that so many people came out, because I know, we were joking the whole trip that, the Midwest, there's sturdy folk out there, like, and all that kind of stuff. They're used to this weather, but it was extreme, I think, even by standards set by the Chicagoans. It was just brutal. It was like 5 below, and then it was like ridiculous wind, and the sound of that wind, Mark, I'll tell you, we were outside of the building in the back, and like any city, it's like this in Manhattan too. If you're in like a corridor sort of where there's a bunch of buildings, the wind kind of funnels in that area, to be expected. But in Chicago, that night anyway, it was blowing. The wind was howling, literally howling off of Lake Michigan. And you heard this crazy, almost demonic sounding wind. It was like, whoa. It was very frightening. And we were just chilled to the bone. It was the kind of cold that like hurts your face, like you're getting stabbed. It was awful. But Chicago's a fun town. It was nice. We got to have some Chicago-style pizza that night. Of course, I just ate the cheese and sauce because I'm still doing the no-carb thing. But it was a lot of fun. And like each town we played in, we tried to sample something from that town, like, that they're known for. Like in St. Louis, we had these fried ravioli. Apparently that's a thing in St. Louis. That was fine. Tasty. Marty is taller. Yeah, solid 6'2". Mark is actually taller than he appears. Oh, get out of here. Really? Yeah, man. Perryville. It was really nice. It was like a sleepy little town, and we had breakfast at some place. Our hotel was down there. We were trying to get out of St. Louis proper because we had to go to Arkansas the next morning. That's a whole other story, Little Rock. But anyway, we went down, like, I don't know how far it was, an hour or so south of St. Louis, I think Perryville was. That's where the hotel was. And in the morning, we had a delicious, like, hometown breakfast. It was really nice. Yeah, it's a fun little town, absolutely, but cold. There you go. That was a sick sound, man. I wish you would have given me a heads up about that because it was very concerning when we were like loading the stuff And actually driving down to Perryville. No, we were driving down to St. Louis the next morning. And man, that sound was scary. Yeah, I believe it, man. It was freezing. I didn't have the ravioli. My buddies did. I didn't have the ravioli in St. Louis. They had these like fried ravioli things. There was some kind of marketplace in St. Louis we went to. I didn't have anything done. Honestly, I didn't. But the Chicago style pizza, I did have the cheese and the sauce. And kudos. I mean, it was delicious. The sauce, especially, was like outrageously good. And my buddies that had the crust and all, they said it was very tasty. So that was cool. Oakbrook was nice. That was Hilton we stayed in. It was very nice. It was very cold. It was very, very cold. We just kind of went in and crashed, man. You know, it was a ride. We went and fell asleep and had to get up and drive to St. Louis in the morning. So just lots of driving. Hawkwind. Okay. Killer Song. Yeah, Little Rock was an interesting place to be. What's up, Keith? How you doing? Welcome aboard. Little Rock had snow. The whole trip was just filled with snow and wind and bitter cold, even in Arkansas. And, you know, I know this is anybody who lives down south or spent any time down south knows this, that those cities come to a crashing halt, a screeching halt, because they don't have the facilities basically to handle, you know, snow of any nature. And this was like 2 inches of snow in Little Rock, but the town came to a crawl. And it was crazy, and there was accidents. Some poor guy, we were in the back of a restaurant, and some guy came out to dump out the grease at the end of the night. And we watched a buddy of mine in the band saw him fall. And this isn't funny at all. He slipped on the ice, and like the whole thing of hot grease went on his pants, and he was screaming because he was burning. It was awful. Jania, what was it called? I have no idea what it was called. It was right outside of. Give me a second, I'll tell you. But anyway, welcome aboard, everybody. I just figured I'd catch up on the stories of the road just really quickly. I know we're here to list and talk eBay, so that's going to be my focus. But it was quite a month, actually, quite a 3 weeks. I think I drove almost 2,500 miles during that period. The Foundry is where we were. Janaea, if that makes any sense. So there was like a little outdoor, no, it was an indoor, it looked like a warehouse, like an indoor marketplace thing in the Foundry, if that helps you at all. I guess it's a district. It was pretty cool. They had like little food booths, things like that. Oh, really? That's pretty cool. Yeah, we didn't see that. We just popped into the hotel, went to bed. Oh my God, indeed. Oh, yeah. Yeah, we just have, I mean, it's funny to go home and it actually got warmer as we went east. Yeah, it was awful. It was awful. He was okay, Dawn. Like afterwards, we got to talk with him and everything. But man, he was just screaming because of the initial shock, I guess. First of all, falling on the ice and then, you know, spilling that oil on him. My God. Yeah, he seemed to be okay, though. What's up? How you doing, Jeff? Welcome aboard, man. Hello. Nijing? What does that mean? Must be Canadian. Outlaw Films is in Alabama. Usually have mild winters, but you got down into the teens this past. So yeah, I believe it, man. Like I was in Little Rock, which isn't far from Alabama, and yeah, it was freezing down there too. It was a lot warmer than it was in the warmest place, believe it or not, was St. Louis. The day after the nightmare cold with Mark in Chicago, which was Tuesday. Wednesday, because we pulled in. I guess the time of day had a lot to do with it. We pulled into St. Louis at like, I don't know, mid-afternoon, 2:30, 3 o'clock. I think it was almost 40 degrees, which literally felt like summer compared to the drive out to Chicago, which was in a snowstorm. In Chicago, absolutely Arctic, frigid. And then when we got to St. Louis, we had like that 39-degree day or something. It felt beautiful. But then it got cold at night. If we had smoke here, I would think I'm in Canada. Yeah, man, it was crazy, but that really was a fun show and a really nice venue. I hope you had a nice time, Mark. I didn't really get to talk to you about the food and all. Like, was it pretty good fare? I hope it was. And drink. Hopefully it was good. Hope you enjoyed it. Your wife asked you drive a van or truck. It was a van. We have a van. It's a regular van, but it converts into a cargo van because the seats go into the floor. But we had 3 of us in the van, so it was packed to the gills. Nasia's French for stone. Oh, okay. Very good. There we go. There's our French lesson from Dawn. Food look good. Oh, you didn't partake? I thought maybe you partook. We had food. They give you a band menu at those places, and it was nice. I had like some grilled shrimp, very, very good. But anyway, guys, yeah, that was a lot of fun. But I am back. I did. We just got home on today's Monday. We got home Saturday night at like 3 a.m. Yeah, 3 a.m. Saturday night, Sunday morning, 3 a.m. But yes, home safe, back in Jiminy Flip at headquarters. And away we go. So we have some ads to list tonight. I pulled, this is interesting. When I first started doing print ads, and when I say first, maybe like within the first year or so, what I would do, if you watch the videos about the processing section of print ads, I would take out what I deem to be like the best or most marketable, in my view, ads, right? And I would take them out. Most of them were full pages. Some of them, as we've described multiple times over the last 2 years almost now on this channel, is, I'll cut up an ad if it's like a quarter of a page or even the small ones, right? Well, back in the infancy of my listing days when it came to print ads, what I would do is basically take out the best of the bunch, at least what I perceive to be the best of the bunch. I'd put the rest in like a white bag, like a white shopping bag, and I would label, let's say, like for the instance of tonight, which I'll get to, L108 means Life Magazine, 108th Life Magazine that I carved up. What I did is, rather than literally like take everything down to the bone and throw out the scraps, I used to keep a portion. I'm glad I did too, because there's a lot of meat left on that bone. So anyway, what I did is I reached into one of my white bags just for fun tonight. I'm like, because I'm running low in the 40s magazine, shockingly. And I love the 40s and World War II stuff. Running really low. So I went into the corresponding white bag that said L108. It was from 1946. Post-war, but barely. It's like January of 46. And sure enough, there was like a bunch of, still really good ads in there that I didn't get to back when I was on L108. So that's what I did tonight. I think there's like 10 of them or something. So I figured between chatting and all, we'll take a look at some of those ads scanned on Kelly's brand new A3 printer. The same type of scanner that Kelly just got. So good luck with that again, man. I hope you do well. Hope you make your money back in spades on it. But yeah, so there was plenty left, and I'm really glad I have. Well, that's 108, so I have at least 100. I think I have like 150 of those bags filled with, some more scrap paper that I'm sure will yield lots more material down the line. Mrs. Flip, it actually said she wants to go in and she'll just take the bags to work with her and like cut out ads. That would be cool. And then I could just throw them in the scanner and get some more. So the interesting thing about tonight's listings is basically I just went back to whatever's left of L108 in my SKU, because I used in my SKU, I'll put like the location, which in this case, L108. I searched by that and there was still, I don't know, 5 or 6 ads left from that initial batch. So all I did is sell similar from one of the L108s, and away we go. And now that's my draft for tonight's activities. So it's been pretty cool. So this is just to show you basically and prove to myself that it's a good thing I kept the rest of the magazines from these things, because there's probably tons more ads. Did Sherlock lose his mind? Yeah, poor baby. I mean, I came in at 3 a.m. Dawn, so he was sound asleep. He, gave me a mercy bark when I came in, came downstairs, wiggled around. I said, Daddy's home, go back to bed. He ran right back up to bed. And then the next morning he was really excited, which was yesterday, Sunday morning. I haven't been around much, but I know people are trying to find something to put their ads in. I've been using the Sterilite 16-quart stackage drawer. Oh, that's interesting, man. Yeah, those are really good. We actually have a couple of those for the baking stuff. My wife puts like sprinkles and stuff in there. Yeah, that's cool. Whatever you need. I mean, you've seen in the videos, I have 3 pretty tall traditional office cabinets, file cabinets. We were able to get that from office closeout thing that my wife and I did a couple years ago with the COVID stuff. This office of a friend of ours closed, and he said you could just come in and take everything. Probably talked about that at some point during the last 2 years. Well, anyway, I have 3 filled, 1, 2, 3, 4, so 12 full file cabinets. So like maybe 3 foot each when you go into it. And they're not quite filled. I still have a little space. Once I get beyond that amount, I mean, hopefully I want to sell more to make more room. That's a whole other topic, by the way. I'm getting high on sell-through. I want to move these things. So I was discounting some ads. The ads sold for me. They've been selling pretty well for me continuously. I did allude to it on New Year's, but I started another store recently in November, I think, or late October, exclusively to do clothing. And that's been doing really, really well for us, which I'm thrilled about. So kind of living 2 lives here. I'm doing the clothing stuff, which is kind of back to how I started. Just at a much more sophisticated level, meaning I'm not selling my wife's old clothes like we started doing. I'm actually sourcing high sell-through rate clothing and selling that separately, continuing the passion, which is in the ephemera and stuff on my main store, which is the stuff I always show you guys. And the ads have been selling, like even when I was on vacation mode during the whole better part of 3 weeks, there was still sales coming through, which was cool. And I just did an end and sell similar last night on several thousand, I think 2,500 or 3,000 of them. And then the sales started coming back up again with the print ad. So it's a good time to be a print ad seller, ladies and gentlemen. If you haven't done it yet, I highly suggest you dive in. Watch my series about how to. If you need any help, if you have any questions, as always, just reach out. But that's, the 16 quart Starlight. That's a really cool thing. Here you go. There's the dimensions. Awesome, man. Yeah. Anything that keeps them safe, most importantly, keeps them out of the way of any kind of moisture or water. Obviously, that's the nemesis of anything with paper. Water and paper don't mix. So I would also keep them elevated off the ground if you're working in a basement environment like I am. God forbid there's a flood or something. I don't have anything on the floor anymore. Got everything elevated. Moisture ads on a bookshelf. Okay, cool. Yeah, I don't know that there's any, there's no rule to this, right? Whatever works for you guys. There's probably 100 other ways to store them. I'd be interested to hear if you guys have different methods. Let me know, because once I'm beyond these 12 drawers in the file cabinets, I'm gonna have to myself look for some other means of storing them. But like I said, hopefully the idea isn't to just keep storing stuff. I want to move stuff out, and then that'll make room for new stuff to go in. Up on this side so you can find them. Oh, very cool. Okay. And how do you, let's go back to this. So Dawn, I'm trying to picture the scene here. You're on a bookshelf. They just stand up, straight up. They don't like bend and stuff, or do you have them boarded or something to supply some kind of support? Dawn stores them in the root cellar. What's up, Eddie? How's it been? Well, hope you're having some luck sourcing photos and postcards via Craigslist. Oh, very cool. Oh, big time, man. That's always absolutely, I agree 1,000,000%, Eddie Golden. Love the historical aspect of postcards and print ads. So that's really good to see that you've been having luck sourcing them. Very good stuff. You don't have one of those. Oh, yeah. Sourcing has been the only sourcing I'm doing is clothing right now. Ironic. So ironic, because I resisted and despised it for so long. But I think if you go into it with a fresher approach and be extremely picky, because again, my previous clothing background was 99% just my wife's old clothes. A few months ago, my wife's grandma passed away. We got inundated with some of her clothing, which was all immaculate. And that's what kind of set that second store into my third store, actually, but new store into motion. Just strictly clothing. It's really doing well. And knock on wood, I think I've had like 2 returns, and they were both fine. Like it was just, it didn't fit like I thought. No problem. Return it. I'll sell it again. But I'm keeping that completely separate. So that's my only sourcing, is going out and picking up some clothing now and then. And otherwise, I just keep rolling with all the ads and the postcards that I have. You put a board in the bag holding a magazine with. Oh, very cool. Okay, so they just stand straight up. That's nice. You had to take some of my practices. I don't bag board them immediately. You wait till they sell. Yeah. Oh, absolutely, man. Agreed. 100%. Your hoard of clothes. Yeah, that's good, man. I mean, whatever people think about clothing, it's still probably the #1 category, I think, right? I know it's a flooded category, but that's a very broad statement. There's subcategories within major categories of clothing that sell really well or have a higher sell-through. You can't just look at a brand specifically and say, oh, Nike is flooded, therefore you can't make any money and they'll never sell. There's subcategories and things within Nike that have a very high sell-through, and there's some that have a very slow sell-through. Everything in between. So just learn a little bit about the different brands. And like I said, I'm very picky about it. It's just a secondary thing, but I'll tell you, the money coming in is a very nice unexpected bonus. And it was really all kicked off from my wife's grandma, getting those clothes, and kind of removed my disdain for clothing, I should say. And kind of got me to thinking, well, what the heck? There's nothing wrong with throwing some of that into the mix, They're expensive. Yep, very true. People need clothes, you know what I mean? And it's out there in obscene abundance. We don't have a clothing shortage in the United States of America yet, but awfully. So there's people out there that don't have a clothes. So it's very sad. But we definitely have an abundance of clothing. Kelly is doing 25 to 40 ads per bag, similar to what you do with postcards to open a second store just for the ads. Oh, did you really? Good luck with that, man. Yeah, to keep them segregated from your cards. Yeah, I just opened mine at right around Halloween, I think, early November. Right after Halloween, I should say. It's going well. You know, it's like anything else. When it's a new store, you kind of have to build up your reputation. I have very little feedback relative to my older stores, but that's cool. It's really the same practices, you know, good keywords, put them in the right categories, find good products, and find things people want and price them fairly. And you too can sell on eBay. Got some Macari sales. I do dabble in Macari primarily with media, but I have some other stuff on there, like records and CDs on Macari. I had a nice Etsy sale. Did I share that with you guys? I forgot. I think I did a post, but I sold an ad on Etsy finally. And it was good money, I think. Hold on. Let me go back. I'm pretty sure I put a post up, but I don't remember. It's been so long since I've been on. But I finally sold an ad on Etsy, and I was thrilled. Where it is, I can't tell you. How do you find what you sold on Etsy, Dawn, right? Orders and shipping. Completed, right? I think it was $30 anyway. I won't go through the whole dance, but I think I sold an ad for like $30 on Etsy, which was pretty cool. It's good to see the other platforms coming through once in a while. You know, it's just extra. Slow going. Yeah, because you're starting out new. You know, it's a pretty nice show, but real quick, how is the postcard listing going? It's been a while. Kelly, I did a lot of postcards prior to Christmas. I listed a ton of Christmas postcards. Excuse me. I'm eating the remnants of my Christmas little candy canes. No, they're not carb-free candy canes. I'm aware of that, but they're minty fresh and they help your breath. I was listing postcards for a couple of weeks, almost exclusively right before Christmas, with the hopes that I could capitalize on that. And yeah, I sold a few, but nothing crazy. I still have a lot of postcards to list. I'm going to keep going back and forth. I got on the print ad. I was on postcards for so long, and then I wanted to get back into print ads a little bit, so I did that. It's kind of just, you know, I have plenty to draw from, so I bounce around a little bit in this store, in the ephemera store, I guess now, even though there's a lot more than ephemera in it. But the only thing I'm trying to keep separate is clothing. And I do have a bunch of clothes, not a bunch, but I have maybe 40 listings, let's say, in this main store that are clothing. I'm just going to keep them up because they've been out there for a little while, and before I started the new store. And then the new store is solely clothing. But yeah, postcards are postcards. They're there. I still have a bunch of them left, so I'm going to keep listing them. Obviously, I'm not in the business of just buying them and letting them sit there. It drives me nuts. You don't know if you ever open a second store. Yeah, and it's really, this is just a personal choice. I don't think there's any advantage or disadvantage to doing so. It's just a matter of segregating things. And, you know, if you really want to specialize or niche down, as they say, into one thing, that was my idea. I kind of want the clothes separate from everything else, just because, no real specific reason, not to gain any kind of advantage. I don't think that exists at all. If anything, you're putting out more money, right? I have another store, so it's another subscription fee and all, but it's exciting. It's kind of fun to do from ground zero again, to start up a new store, knowing what you know, hopefully that we all, you know, we have a few years experience now, or many years experience doing this, and you can kind of utilize that knowledge now in a brand new store and get it up and running a lot quicker, let's say, maybe than you might have gotten the first store up. You leverage your knowledge. The car police, yeah, I know. Oh, did you really? Yeah, I'm just munching. We have a couple of these. I mean, seriously, how big is this thing? The little mini candy canes. So we had a couple left. So good to see everybody. You guys ready to list a little bit? I got everything queued up. We're going to go to, again, L108. So this is a magazine I've already carved up many moons ago, but we're going to revisit it. And I think it was 10. Let me count it really quick. How many do I have? 11, excuse me. 11 brand new ads from the same magazine that I had discarded initially for some stupid, and I'll tell you, when I see some of these, I'm like, why did I discard these? Foolish boy. But I'm glad I did now, because now it makes for some new stuff that we can list together. So we have 11 brand new ads this is from January of 46. It is Life magazine. And let me pull up my draft, and we'll do the sharing of screens. If anybody has any questions, as always, or just wants to say hi, please feel free. Comments, please do leave a thumbs up if you're enjoying the content. That helps push the video out to other watchers. Also untold. I'm going to refresh this. Mom always said, don't talk with food in your mouth, right? There we go. Okay, I just refreshed my other screen. There we go. You just sold a postcard, Dawn, right? Congratulations. I sold 2 postcards today. Alrighty, let's share the screen. And away we go. Thank you once again, everybody, for coming in. Just leave comments, questions, concern, fun. And speaking of traveling, we have a rural squirrel who I may have rivaled for a very brief period last week in my mileage. Welcome to the show, Kristen. How you doing? Hope you're well. I was out in the Midwest all week, freezing my tookus off, as they say in the hood. And man, oh man, oh man, brutal. But it was a great trip, a lot of fun. Great to see you. Hope you're doing well. And that is amazing, Dawn. Congratulations. Rural squirrel. All right, let's get rid of my little banner to make room for make more space. Let us share screenage. Let us put me down here. All right. You know the drill. Oh, I'm sure everybody's noticed this, but I don't know if it's true of all the different categories, but in the print ad space, there's been a, I'm not going to call it an upgrade. In my view, it's very much a downgrade. And that downgrade is, let's just go really quickly. This is an ad for Bird's Eye, but the good one here is this is Dinah Shore. Remember the Dinah Shore show in the 70s? Well, Dinah was a famous singer from back in the 40s. This is 1946, this ad, and she's down there. I call it a kitchen garden, and it tastes like spring, says Dinah Shore. So we're going to use the Dinah Shore angle. But anyway, beyond that, let's say I go in and I put, per usual, right, Bird's Eye, the brand. And what kind of veggie is this? Is it mixed vegetables? We could change this when I pull up the specifics. I just want to show you guys what's changed. I'm going to put mixed vegetables. You know how it used to be? You would do something like that, right? I'd go down, I'd hit my item category, and it would give you, eBay would give you a suggestion. Well, no more is that the case. You have to go from scratch every time. So I can click on these and go back. Like with this string right here, that was, I guess, the last thing I listed. But isn't that crazy? Like, remember how it would always give you a suggestion? It should go in food. It should go in Bird's Eye. Gone. Why? No idea. But anyway, it's not really that big of a deal. But you just go back and go there. I'm going to go food and beverage. And if we see anything specific, I don't even know if they have a vegetable category. Nope. So we can go to other food and beverage. That's fine. Hey, Ralph, how you doing? Great to see you too, man. Thanks for coming in. I'm glad you were able to make the show. Welcome aboard. All right, so let's just, we'll go back now. I just want to show you guys that basically the item category suggestion feature, if you will, is suddenly gone. Don't know why. It's been like probably about a month or so. And at first I thought I was doing something wrong. Like, what's going on? What's going on? It turns out, I guess they just took away that suggested category for whatever reason. But on the good side of things, of the ledger, a lot of this stuff is now retained where it wasn't previously, which is I was whining about for a long time. Like in theory, if I put print ad in here, sometimes it stays for several listings, which I guess I'll take at this point. But just for the, for anybody who might be new to the show, yeah, I missed the category suggestions too. I don't know why that was taken away, Dawn. Weird. But anyway, for the benefit of anybody who might be new to the show, and I see a couple of new names. I don't know if you've been watching a long time and just never said hi. But whatever the situation is, again, welcome aboard first and foremost. And secondly, let's kind of go through from soup to nuts here in at least the first one or two. All right, so we pulled in our ad. It is a Bird's Eye print ad, again, January 1946, Life magazine, 14 inches long, 11 inches wide. That's the format. We're pulling up a picture. That's a scan on Kelly's brand new Optiplex E3. No. And that's the basics now. I'm putting the brand name first, what it is, and print ad. Okay, so after that is where we have a little fun and we look for certain things, like in this case, legendary performer Dinah Shore. And let's pull up in my scan folder so we can blow this up a little more. And there you can see Dinah down there. You can see we have a recipe, which I usually like to mention if available. And you can see down here, listen to Dinah. Bird's Eye open house on Thursday evenings on NBC Radio. Radio, folks, radio, 46. TV about to kind of explode, but was still really in the land of radio domination in early 46. It's only, 6-7 months after the war ends. And there's that, God only knows what's on top of the mixed vegetables here, but I guess that'll be apparent to us once we look at the recipe. So what do we got? Oh, just some butter, some grated cheese, some milk, pimento. I love pimento. Medium cauliflower. Ooh. All right. So that's the gist. There's our ad. That's what we're dealing with. We have bird's eye. We have, I might put frozen vegetable in there just for fun. Bird's eye frozen, or frozen, as they say in Russia. Frozen mixed vegetables printed. Now we're going to put Dinah Shore. I'm going to put radio show. Again, when I was a kid in the 70s, she used to have a TV show. She also did the commercials on TV all the time. She always looked much younger than she really was. She famously dated Burt Reynolds, who was like 20-something years younger than her, I think, or maybe about 20 years younger. Kelly has the Plus Tech flatbed, but didn't get the Plus Tech Duplex. Oh, okay. You got the Epson DS 30,000, or is that 3,000? Awesome. That's your new duplex. So oh, wow, that's awesome, man. So you are all up to date, brand new equipment. I think you said you got the big fancy duplex cleaner, not the one you have. Oh, okay. You got the Plus Tech flatbed. It's not fancy. It just fits big ads, which is what I needed it for. All right. So down here in the specifics, item specifics, I do always, again, optional. As you see, it says right here, optional. But I always fill these out. I think it helps, potential buyers find my items, and that's, I think, what we all want. At the end of the day, multicolor, it's original. Bird's Eye is the brand. It's printed, 1946. Blah blah blah. That's kind of my canned description. Perfect framing, light age toning, which, although not always true, I try to exceed expectations. So if I say there's some moderate or light age toning on a specific ad, and it comes through that they look vivid and crisp and clean, like most of them do, you exceed expectations, usually get really good feedback. People are happy. We're making money. And the world keeps going around and around. All right. So there you go. That's my dimensions, 14, 10 and a half, January 46. And that is it for this first listing. I've also been trying a new strategy, which is, again, I hate to say anything because as soon as you say it, it's a kiss of death, right? I haven't been promoting anything for a month. If a listing is up for 31 days and has not been purchased yet, not every item, but definitely with print ads, definitely with postcards, I'll just go and promote after a month. I try to ride the new listing wave and try to get those organic views and hopefully sales. It's not big bucks on $12 to promote it 8% or whatever your number is, but I figured, it all adds up. So I've had some success, a lot of success with selling them within the first month, and why give eBay more money if you don't need to? That's my philosophy. But after a month, I usually give in, and I'll go ahead and I'll go up and I'll go back and I'll promote the stuff that's been lingering. But I just figured I would try to, like I said, ride the wave of the new listing freshness and hope that a bunch of people, which I know is true, have either the store saved or have some sort of search saved where they're looking, for all my bird's eye collectors out there. And believe it or not, there are some, or Dinah Shore people, or any combination of the two. They might have searches in place. So whenever they see a new listing, they'll pounce on it. And that is as good or better than having a promoted listing just going out to the masses. You're getting to the masses. You're getting a targeted view from somebody that wants that product. So we'll see. And obviously, the more rare or whatever, then the better chance that it'll be seen. I'm sorry. I'm trying to read the comments over here. Ralph, you just got the A3 Plus Tech, still learning the setup. Oh, okay. Yeah, it's. I guess it can seem pretty overwhelming. The good news, Ralph, is once you figure it out, it's a set it and forget it prospect for the most part, unless you change up the type of stuff you're scanning. But for the print ads, it's kind of, you can save when you get the settings the way you like it. You could just kind of save them. You can even name it, print ad setting, and it'll retain all those numbers for you, all those specifics for you. But we could talk about, and maybe I think you would even ask, maybe we'll do a video or something about that. Maybe I'll even do a live show and we'll just go through the setup. If anybody's interested, let me know. We could definitely do that. Like anything new, it seems pretty overwhelming initially, but it really isn't. Once you get the hang of it, it's pretty cool. You're doing the same on promotions days. Yeah, I'm just, give or take. It's not a science, but I give a gander. After 30 days, 31 days, I look back at listings for the last 31 days and, if they have 0 views in 30 days, which of course is now the template that they use, that's what they give the information on. It's always views and watches in the last 30 days. It's a cycle that keeps going up and down. if it has 0 views, I'll give in and I'll just do the promotion at that point. But I figured just ride it for at least a month and see what happens. And you'd be surprised if you guys haven't tried that. I would, do anything you'd like, obviously, like I keep saying. But I could tell you with some confidence that it seems to work. If somebody's really interested in bird's eye stuff and you have a new listing, you get that boost for it being a new listing. And then again, you have a possibility of somebody having a search in place to try to find your stuff. So use those tools first that are free, in quotes. And then if need be, if you choose to promote after that, so be it. But that's what I've been doing, about a month or so. All right, well, let's list this first one. And we are off and running. And again, welcome everybody. Thank you so much for coming in after this ridiculously long hiatus. But it's great to be back. And my candy canes are running low. All right, there's the first one. All done. All right. So everybody go check out Dinosaur on Thursday nights on NBC Radio. And then what I do is I go back again. This is just for the benefit of anybody who might be newer to the program or the steps I take. I go back. These are all scanned in with the duplex, not the duplex, excuse me, with the A3 optic slim scanner. I go in, I save them all. You can see it says L108. So I save them to a path right here with the pictures and all. And then once I've listed it, I delete it. I delete the scan. So Dinah says bye-bye. And that's just my own way of accounting, what I have to list versus what's already been listed. Everything is saved on here already. And then I actually have been using 6-bit a lot. It's a wonderful tool for listing anything. I use it for listing postcards, but it's also a wonderful way to back up all of your listings. You could back up your entire store. I know Kelly knows this. You could do it with any kind of frequency you like. You could set it up to automatically back up all your listings every week, whatever frequency you want. It's a great way because, trust me, I did get burnt once doing, I think most of you guys probably remember that. I lost 200 listings one time doing end and sell similar. And thank God for 6-bit because they had all the information still. I was able to pull it all back in, upload it all to eBay in one fell swoop, and life was good again. So anyway, it's a good tool. Even if you don't use it to list, it's a wonderful way to back up all your listings, all your photos. So I don't have any fear, quote unquote, of deleting these pictures. Plus I have the physical ad. If I really need, I have the physical ads in the drawers over there. So anyway, that's what I do. And now I know I have 10 left to list. All right. So let's go on to the next one. I do try to stay with like categories. Like we were just in the food category. So we give a quick look and we say, do we have any more food? We have candy down here. That's soap or something. That's obviously tobacco. What should we go to? What should we go to, folks? You'd like to follow with the video too, says Ralph. Okay, cool. You cannot find the window that will keep the adjustments, brightness, contrast from A3. A video would be great. Okay, man. Yeah, CJ and Ralph. I'm not doing anything tomorrow morning. Maybe I'll make a video for you guys. I will. I'd be happy to. I'll do just kind of a generic, how to set up your A3 scanner. And hopefully you'll be able to follow along. And you can feel free to mirror my settings because if you guys are doing print ads or even postcards or anything else, any paper, it's going to basically be the same. I guess the only real option to change things if you choose to would be your DPI. I think I'm at 400, either 300 or 400. Once I learned that eBay kind of throttles down the DPI, like you could go up there and have these, crystal clear images and they're only going to, present them at a certain limitation. So I think I settled on like 300 or 400, which is more than enough. When you blow these up, there's no questions. I've never had, again, the wood is knocked on. I've never had one problem when anybody's saying, item not as described, God forbid, on an ad that, you didn't tell me that there was a mark on here. These things are crystal clear, very, very apparent to any potential buyers. Yeah, I agree, CJ. I think I did settle on 300. And Karen too on the A3. Sure, guys. And thank you very much for bringing that up, for suggesting it. So there's a video. Look for it. I'll do it tomorrow morning. I promise. I will do it. In fact, out comes the pen. Out comes the pad. To remind myself, we'll do a video tomorrow morning, and I should be, it won't be super long, but hopefully it'll be thorough. And as always, if you think I'm missing anything or you want to dive deeper, let me know. But it's going in the book. We're going to do I'm just going to write Opti A3 setup the video. Thanks for the suggestion. You should see it tomorrow. I'll put something together in the morning and I'll have it released tomorrow. Hopefully it helps you guys out. Along those lines, same with Kelly. Yeah, no problem. Yours is brand new, so yeah, it would definitely be helpful for you. Along those lines, if there's anything else you want help with or you think would make for a good video, a how-to, or anything like that, please let me know. I'm always extremely grateful if you guys give me ideas for things you'd like to see. That's, again, at the end of the day, what this is all about. Being on YouTube, you're trying to help people, or, learn too. Of course, I learn a million things from everybody else that watches the shows. But yeah, let me know if there's anything else you want me to do a how-to kind of thing on. Let me know. All right, let's move on. What should we do? Let's do this one. Palmolive. Remember Madge? Palmolive, you're soaking in it. Commercial. Palmolive soap. Doctors prove 2 out of 3 women can have lovelier skin in just 14 days. All right, so we have Palmolive soap. Again, the good old days, you were able to put that in, hit a button, and it would put you right in the right category. But those days are sadly gone. However, we can just click on advertising again. We can go to health and, go to advertising again. I'm going to go to health and beauty is probably where the soap will lie. Cosmetics and hair care, medicine, first aid. We'll do health and beauty. There is a proper soap category, but I think that's combined with detergent. And this is really more to do with health and beauty than detergents. And then for my proprietary store categories, like for instance, like silly things that I kind of take for granted, and I hate to do that, but if anybody needs any help with how do you set up store categories or something like that, let me know. I'd be happy to do how-tos on any of that stuff. Because you can see, these are all my store. This is just stuff I made up. I got a lot of store categories, a lot of them. And I just did a purge of a bunch of them that really don't apply anymore, and I still have all this. So I know a thing or two about making store categories. If anyone needs help with that, let me know. But for this, we're going to go to personal care products is where my soap stuff is going to live. All right. And then we will switch out these things. The brand is Palmolive. This is a print ad. It is. Itchy nose. Sorry about that. Original 46 color. There we go. That's all the same. All right, let's take a look at this. You can see one downside, and this is my own fault. It has nothing to do with the scanner. It's always user error. But you see how there's a little, this is so petty, but you see that little bit of black there? I hate that. That's because when I put my paper in the scanner, it was slightly skewed. So I do wish, I'll tell you, to the eBay gods, they have all these functions, right? I wish they had a straightening tool, like in the photo app on Windows or a million other ones where you can straighten things. It would be great to hit a button here and straighten that. But anyway, what we're going to do is we're going to virtually trim off that black. It has no impact on the ad. It doesn't detract from anything. Title Palmolive, on to the next. There you go. That wouldn't make for a very exciting show, though, would it, Mark? And, Mark will check out Mark, of course, has some postcards on YouTube. He has many a video, great, wonderful information about statistics and numbers and things like that. I know Kelly digs that stuff. So do I. And he has literally run tests on items, and you could speak to it if you'd like a little more, Mark, but he did a series of listings that said, like, correct me if I'm wrong, but it basically said postcard 1, postcard 2. That was his listing, and he actually sold some. There we go. Ad 1, ad 2. You never know. You just never know. Maybe we're all just, overthinking every single aspect of this. Maybe they say a picture says 1,000 words, right? So really, if you think about it, if you put a scan of an ad in there, and let's say you bother with some of these specifics and you put a brand, do you really have to do the same thing in the title? I don't know. But I'm not gonna risk my entire store. Although it would be a fun project, to be honest with you. I should do that. Just do like ad 1, ad 2, and see if some of those sell. What's up, to Paige? How you doing? Oh my God, Chicago, -5. -5 last. We were there Tuesday night. Mark came out to see us. It was a lot of fun. -5. Wind chill, God only knows. At that point, it's semantics. We were talking about this. Like, who cares if it's -5 or -11? Is there really going to be a difference? No. It's not fit for man or beast. Absolutely frigid. You sold a postcard 1 and postcard 4 out of the 4 you tested. That's hysterical. So you have a 50% sell-through on a title that says postcard. All right, Palmolive soap. Now, here's the fun part where we take a deep dive into this ad. We see what's going on. See, we got a broad there with her man. We got a doggy. What kind of dog is that, Dawn, right? We got a beret. What that called? We have a big old pink bow. Doctor's proof. We look for these little things for keywords. We got this, like flowers in a hair. We have bath size. I just look for things that might -30 wind chill. Totally believe it, man. It was painful to the face. And I was, covered as much as I could possibly be covered. And it's still like, I had like a face mask thing that we wore underneath this big hat that I had with like a flaps that had like built-in earmuffs. And you could still, it just went right through it, laughed at the paper, sliced right through it. And almost, you ever been so cold that it almost burns? There's probably a fine line between freezing and burning. There's a point where the cold is so cold it burns your face, if that makes any sense. It really hurt. Go back to the dog. Yes, we will go back to the dog. What's up, Mark? How you doing? Good to have you, man. Welcome aboard. We're listening today. Yeah, here's the dog, Dawn, right? Keeping in mind this is an illustration, so it might not be an exact specific brand. It looks like a fox terrier, but not enough white on it. Dawn, send out the rescue penguins. That's funny. Hey, what's up, Ken? For category, click edit, then click on first category name, click done, then click on first category again. Now you have the suggestions like before. Oh, get out of here. Really? Thank you for that, Ken. We'll try it on the next ad, okay? I'll follow your instructions. Welcome to the show. All right. You could pull a mark and instead of saying terrier, just say dog. I think that might get the job done as well. So I think we're going to do that. Doctor's proof. All right. So basically from this, we have dog. Pink bow I'm going to put because I know the keyword pink is actually searched. People collect pink. All things pink. Pink bow, roses, pretty. How do we describe pretty woman walking down the street? Pretty woman, pretty dame, attractive woman. I don't know. Pooch. Oh, sure. No, that's not good. That looks like you wrote pouch, but yeah, pooch. You can call him a pooch. You had the date mark, but nothing was getting me out in that cold. And that was my fear, DePage. I thought that you were going to be, it was going to be the same situation and nobody would show up. But what would you say, Mark? I mean, it's not a big place. They probably only fit like 200 people. It's like a dinner theater thing, a little dinner room, but very, very nice. And there was a nice turnout. I did think the cold was going to keep people away. Yeah, I think it's Pooch with a double O. Pretty women. Doctors. Just throwing keywords. Remembering always, despite the inclination to want to write a cohesive sentence, you really don't need to do that. You just need to kind of put in some keywords that you think people might search. Doctors. Proof. Anybody have any other suggestions for this one? Always open to them. Anything else? I mean, that's kind of cool, like a handheld mirror. I put roses in there. That's a kind of groovy looking style. I don't know what that is. A jacket. The pink bow, I think, is good. Maybe red lips might be something. Look at how red everybody's lips are. All the girls have like very red lips. Red lipstick. Beautiful venue, City Winery. Glad you had a good turnout. Yeah. Lipstick, says Mark. Yeah, seriously. I think the red lipstick is actually something we need to mention. But yeah, the City Winery was really nice. People there were fantastic. The staff in that place were absolutely top notch. We ate and dined like kings. And no, they really did. The sound guy was great. It's really nice. They give you like your own private helper, if you will. Lady comes back and, hi, my name is, I'm not going to give away a name. Anything I could do to make you more comfortable, you guys. And we had like a schedule on the door, which was very professional about like what time that we get there. What time do we do sound check? What time does sound check have to be completed? What time do doors open so guests come in? So we're not outside finagling with wires and in come the guests. Very, very, very detailed, which I greatly appreciate because unfortunately not every venue is like that. And they were really top notch. And the food was outrageously good. I had these skewered, like grilled shrimp with roasted garlic. Oh, perfect pre-show meal because it satisfies you. It's all protein, but it doesn't bloat you. Like if I had a big old hunk of Chicago style pizza, which was tempting, you don't want to be up there burping on stage. Let me just put it that way. So I do agree. Lipstick. Red. In fact, we're just going to put red lipstick. Forgot the doctors. I'm going to go red lipstick because I think that's a kind of a feature of this ad that jumps off the page. All right. So there's that one. 2 down. And again, thank you everybody for coming in. Please do leave a thumbs up if you have a moment. I'd appreciate it. Let YouTube. I haven't talked in a while. I've sang, I haven't talked. Let YouTube know that this video is on the air and push it out to other people. And of course, there's always that, caveat that if you leave a thumbs up, high probability you might get a sale during the show. It's one of my deals I make. You leave a thumbs up, you get a sale. I think that's it for this one. 2 down. Boo doo boo 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 doo boo boo. I was very proud that I was able to keep my voice because we played 5 nights in a row. We played a week ago. We had like 4 days off. The first week we were down in Nashville. That was also another really fun trip. Pittsburgh, Nashville, Philadelphia, and these 2 other towns in Pennsylvania. And I didn't lose my voice or even sound hoarse during any of these shows, which is especially with the weather. I was impressed. I was impressed with myself. I was able to keep that while driving hundreds and hundreds of miles between every single location. So kudos to me for keeping your voice. Good job, man. All right, Palmolive is done. Let's see if we have any other soap. I think this is like a cold cream ad or something. Maybe we'll pull that one up next. Yeah, let's pull that one up. Try to do like products when at all possible. Yep, Pond's cold cream. Now let's revert back to Ken's advice here and see if I could follow what he wrote of a way to get back the suggestion. How do you stop call cutter from bunching up paper? Hi, trying to learn this. Make sure it's really sharp. I've never had that problem. You could also depress, the white, like, I don't know what the wording is for it, but if anybody's out there familiar with any paper cutter, it's kind of the same thing. There's like this white strip that goes on the left of where the cutting blade is. You could depress that a little bit. It's like maybe a 1/4 of an inch. It bounces off of the paper. If you press that down before you pull down the sharp blade and do it quickly, it should stop the paper from bunching up or moving underneath it. I haven't had a problem, like I said, with that. So make sure, first and foremost, you have a nice sharp blade. And I do have a sharpening blade hack that I've mentioned 1,000 times, is just run a piece of tin foil, believe it or not, under like you would put a piece of paper, and just run the blade over it 2 or 3 times, and it becomes sharp as all heck. No problem, Mark. Enjoy your dinner. And again, thanks very much. Great to see you. Great to meet you. Much success in your endeavors. And maybe we'll get out there again when it's, above 20 degrees, and we'll hang out again. Thanks for coming, though. All right, I want to go back to, I have to scroll up on my other computer. Apologies, just 1 second. Ken had a suggestion on how to get our suggested categories back. And he said, if I can find it, for category, click edit. Category, edit. Then click on first category name. Click done. Just click this where it says first category. Click done. Then click first category again. Is that what this is? Suggested. Ken Huey, God bless you. And hopefully this will keep it like this. I hope. Beautiful thing, because that was driving me nuts. So far, so good. Thank you, man. I appreciate it very, very much. All right. This is obviously a black and white ad. And again, you can see there's just a little bit of that black, which I am going to trim off virtually, not trimming the actual paper. The paper is completely fine. Done. Thanks for that tip, Ken. That's awesome, man. That was driving me batty. You have the roller style. Yeah, it's a great tip. Thank you, Ken. No, it doesn't keep it, but it's too bad. Oh, okay. You just have to keep double clicking on it. Yeah, I wonder why they got rid of that, man. That's really messed up. She's lovely. She uses Ponds. She's engaged. Well, this one kind of writes itself. Let's just change our brand to Ponds. This is something I learned recently. What I was doing, and I'm going to stop now, is I would change the color. I would say that a multicolor ad basically meant a color advertisement, right? When it was black and white, like this one is, and a couple of them are, I would change this and put in a custom description where it says enter your own and put black and white. I learned recently that color black and white is not something that's really searchable. You notice they have black and they have white separately. They don't have a black and white. So if you put in a custom one like that, your chances of that being searched are very low. I did some research about that, read about that. So I do think I'm going to just wind up leaving this multicolor, assuming that nobody really abides by the same notion that I've been doing for these years, which was to distinguish color ads from black and white. I would put multicolor and I would put black and white. I don't think it really matters. And again, I don't suspect anybody's going to look at a scan and say, I thought that was color. You had color. So just for ease of listing, we're going to kind of keep this field stuck on multicolor. And if I do get the one idiot that says, you said it was color or whatever, then maybe I'll revert back to how I've been doing it. But we're going to try this. I've been doing this for a while now and haven't had any issues. Don't foresee any. That was just my own little thing. I always wanted to try to, like I said, distinguish the two types of ads. I wish they had a black and white category. I would certainly select it. All right, Pond's Cold Cream. She's engaged. Lovely woman. I think that's all I need on this one, honestly. This isn't really that much of a... Exactly. Yeah, if you put in the custom, they can't filter, right? Exactly. And that bottom sentence that Kelly wrote is the key. You have to use their options for the best results. And of course, that's what we want. So no reason to introduce ambiguity into the equation and put these custom things in. So I'm going to kind of dumb it down and just use what they have, with the hopes that, I guess, technically black and white are multiple colors, right? They're really hues, but we won't get into detail. So yeah, I'm going to just basically leave that. Plus it saves me from having to type something. And, those little steps you save, of course, increases productivity and all that. Hey, what's up, Vintage Ron? How you doing? You learned so much. Thank you very much. As do I. Everybody's contributions and suggestions over this period of time we've been doing the shows have been incredible. And it's a great community. And I thank you again for joining. Happy New Year, if I didn't already say that. Happy New Year, everybody, by the way. It's been 3 weeks. I was on for like 30 seconds on New Year's Day, wasn't I? Hey, Biff, how you doing? You wonder if eBay will add more drop-down options? Yeah, I hope so. I mean, I'm sure if you made suggestions or something, and if enough people asked for that, maybe they would act on it in the forums and whatnot. I would like a black and white option. I would like a permanent print ad option, where it's this type of advertising. You're usually left with, like in this case, you see it's there, of course, but it's not always there. You usually see sign and sticker. I wish there was a permanent print ad selection so I didn't have to type it. These are petty things, but again, they all kind of increase productivity. The less typing you have to do, the less manual intervention you have to do, if you will, the better, right? Trying to learn this. So you use a guillotine cutter or a roller cutter. I use a roller cutter. I guess we're just talking about I'll get the cutter in just a minute. Let me finish this this ad and I'll show you trying to learn this. Okay, what I have. Be happy to show it to you. I don't know how great it'll come out on this camera, but it should. All right, I think that's pretty much it, right? Did you guys see anything else that's really super noteworthy here? I mean, engaged diamond ring. Is that a diamond ring up there? Maybe we'll mention that. Let's see. We'll blow this one up. And you want to make sure this is somebody famous. This is Rose Meriwether Lewis of Atlanta, Georgia. Engaged to Lieutenant Commander Kroger. Anybody know them? No. If that was like some famous actress, obviously we would mention that. In the Army reconditioning program, Rosemary, charming daughter of Robert Freeman's, is helping. All right. And there you go. There's the ring. Maybe we'll put engagement ring. Have you really? That's pretty cool to know, Biff. Oh, fiance, I said it from Honolulu. All right. So just for fun, and again, trying to put in words that people might be interested in searching. There might be somebody out there that collects images of engagement rings, and they don't really care about the underlying product necessarily. If there's an image of a ring, they want it. There's people that collect things like that, folks. So we'll put ring, diamond ring. I'll put in there. All right. And that sounds good to me. Boom, boom, boom. List. You can see again, not promoting, at least for 30 days. See what happens. Roll the dice for a little bit. Let the fresh listing magic work, and hope that people have your store saved, and hope that, and definitely encourage, by the way, folks, just as a total side note, encourage people to save your store, to save it as a favorite or whatever the word is. I think it's save as a favorite. When you're selling stuff, you're free now to message with buyers, within the realm of eBay, and not trying to take them off the platform. Be a good boy and girl and do the right things. But there's nothing wrong with saying something like, hey, I see that, I really appreciate that you purchased several ads from me. Please feel free, is what I say, instead of insisting. Please feel free to follow the store. we're listing new things all the time, blah, blah, blah. Those little things, you'd be surprised. And sometimes you assume, if you're a buyer yourself, like I am for lots of different things, I will do that just habitually. But sometimes you want to say it to somebody. They may not have dawned on them that maybe they're new to the platform and they didn't know that you could save a specific store or save a specific search. Let them know that. And then that number goes up of how many people are following your store. And every time you list something, they're going to get a notification. Jiminy Flip It just listed 100 new ads today. Let me take a look. All right. So definitely, ask questions, push things out, be aggressive in a polite way. Market yourself, market your business. And it helps. All these things help. eBay does a great job of marketing all of our stuff. And they give us a lot of tools to do those things. But like Kelly said before, and like I was saying, I remember when everybody was going nuts, including me, when all these item specifics came out. You have to do this, you have to do this. I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to go back. And we were all going nuts and thought it was all irrelevant. I think they've really made it much more relevant to the type of, granted, it comes down to what item category you're in. These are all, if you look at this really quickly, I'm listing print ads, right? Look at the specifics. There's not that many other than this California 65, which nobody's ever really even looked at. These are all relevant, optional specifics to put in, and all geared on driving people that are interested in any of these things to your listing. So they are your friend. These things are now your friend. I used to think it was our nemesis initially, like they're making us do all this busy work, but I think over time, all that stuff has improved. I'm sure there's exceptions, but for the stuff I've been listing anyway, even the clothing stuff, which can be a nightmare because there's a lot of things to fill out, they all seem to be pertinent and relevant to the type of item you're listing. And that wasn't always the case. So I'm converted on that end too. I'm a big fan of the specifics. I think they help. And it also, theoretically, if you have a title and specifics, you want those to line up. It sounds like such a common sense thing. Don't have Pons as your brand in a specific and write, Chevrolet in your title. Those things are going to cause issues. There's going to be disconnects, and you're not going to maximize your visibility with these ads. So really make sure, do dummy checks, as simple as it sounds. Make sure that the things tie back to each other. All these things definitely aid in, your visibility on your items, which again is what we all want. You don't want your stuff hidden and then saying, eBay's hiding my listings. Not always. Not always. I've learned that for sure. All right, so there's the Pons. I think we got rid of our personal care products. I forgot what this one is. I can't even see these, folks. You guys could probably see it better than me, but I'm getting so blind at this point I can't see anything anymore. An aspirin ad. This one's kind of cool because it had a military. I thought it was military initially, but it's kind of funny when you find out what this is. This is an ad for Bayer aspirin. I thought it looked like a guy like in a pilot outfit or pilot, goggles and all that stuff. And when we get into this, you'll see it has nothing to do with that. All right, but anyway, it is Bayer aspirin. Let's try the trick again. Not that it's really a trick, but it's definitely it does save a click or two, I guess, is what the theory is. So we click on edit, click on first category, click done, click on first category again, and it's supposed to land in this. But if you say, suggested medicine first aid, that sounds like Bayer aspirin to me. Good stuff. Very good stuff. And I'm still going to maintain in my personal category, store category, personal care products, definitely. All right, so we have Bayer aspirin. Let's just go in. Bayer. Print ad. You see what happens when you hit the drop down? It doesn't give you a canned print ad section. I'd like to see that change. Hey, Todd, what's going on, man? Long time no see. Welcome to the show. Rock and roll. Monday night here in the big city of Aston, Pennsylvania. And good to see you, Mark. Where is your other? Where is your significant other? Hope she's doing well. And great to see you guys. Maybe she's listening. And listing. Hopefully listing. All right, so there's our specifics again. I'm a big fan now. I'm converted. I think it absolutely helps you get your product in front of the right people. Just tie back. Make sure Bayer says Bayer. It does. Stupid things like that. Make sure your categories are right. Make sure, just be careful. Sometimes in the interest of speed, you can blow off some of these things, and it could be to your detriment, at the end of the day. You might have a little, I've done it, forgot to change the title. Let's say the next ad is for a Chevrolet car. I'm trying to be fast and I forget, I put it in auto category, but let's say I forgot to change the product name below and I leave it a bear. There's a disconnect then and it could cause trouble. She's cooking and pulling orders. Very good, man. Very good. Pulling orders is a good thing. All right. So anyway, this is a really cool, interesting. Yeah, Mr. Laurie, exactly. Interesting ad because you see, it's not a pilot or anything. The reason Bear Aspirin gives amazingly free relief, demonstrated above. All right. What do we have here? It looks like the Jamaican bobsled team 50 years before that, but it's not. But it is, after all. After zooming out of dreaded shady corner on Lake Placid's Olympic run, bobsled team hit the amazing speed of 70 miles an hour. So we are going to reference bobsled. We're going to reference Olympics. Biff, Kelly, if you don't use unspecifics, then it's fine. Then I'm wasting my time. I do think title tells it, but maybe I'm just compulsive. And Biff, again, I didn't read Kelly's comment yet. You don't, and your sales are still up. It's definitely interesting. So it's too bad I can't find you. When it comes to postcards, strike everything I said. Postcards, I'm still being extremely limited in whatever specifics I use, if any. But that's a different product. For print ads, I put everything in. And that's just the way it is. That's the way I do it. Nobody's right or wrong here. I know Kelly subscribes. In fact, I learned from Kelly when it came to 6-bit for sure. And there was like kind of no reason to put those specifics in. I thought it was like a time suck. And I was able to increase my productivity as far as listing volume of postcards by blowing off most of those things. And I continue to. I had a couple that I put into 6-bit that are always the same, like non-topographical, things like that. Like that's consistent. But I use very little specifics in the postcard listings and still sell them. Whereas in the print ads, I just tend to, because it's not really that many, and they are all extremely pertinent. Whereas postcards, you can get into the woods with like ridiculously overthinking some of those specifics. So anyway, that's what I decide to do. That's what I'm determined to do. You've been running a test for 4 months now, looking at quantity sold for 8 stores or how many they sell per day per month. Cool. All right. So anyway, this is Olympic bobsleds with to see how fast your pain goes away. So that's what we're going to throw into our listing in the form of keywords because I think it's pretty unique. Olympic bobsled team. Lake Placid, which famously had the 1980 Olympics with the the Miracle on Ice and all that stuff. Bobsled team, Lake Placid. I'm going to put winter just for fun. Actually, we'll put Winter Olympics bobsled team, Lake Placid, New York. Bam. And there's that listing. Biff, if I don't fill out all the postcard specifics, that would be insane. Yeah, neither do I, Biff. Jackie Jack, my laptop is getting repaired. You're having listing withdrawals? Oh, no. Yeah, but, I mean, you don't have any other options, man? Just a laptop? Well, anyway, that's that one. I think that's fairly unique. And we'll go with it. So there we go. There's another listing done. We still have a couple more, and then we'll probably just chat for a little bit, and then we'll call it a night. Anybody out there listing as I list? Anybody being inspired by the whole listing thing? I am often inspired when I watch other people list or do eBay activities. I kind of get in the mood. There's some podcasts out there that I listen to as well. Kind of just stimulates that, reflex to do this stuff. And it's always fun to do things in groups instead of alone. With stuff like this, at least I think so. All righty. Sheet music listing. Cool. Yeah, man. I have sheet music up there as well. You're re-inventoring pictures? Re-inventoring? PCs? I'm sorry. I don't know if you're saying pictures or PCs. And Ken is listing 45 ads from National Geographic. That's awesome, man. Biff is getting revved up to list. Let's go. And Dawn can't brain once it's dark out. Okay, she just submits everything to the sleep gods. Yeah, I don't think I've ever listed anything on my phone, to be honest with you. Again, nothing wrong with anyone who does. There's just no reason for me to. I've probably set up drafts on the phone if I've taken pictures now and then, but I've never listed on my phone. Postcards. I'm sorry. Okay, PCs. Very cool. All right, what do we got? We did the aspirin, right? A lot of black and white, as you see. Hot at the presses as you speak. Nice. What are you listing on? Let's go to Der Bingle, as he's known. That would be Mr. Bing Crosby, everybody. Hawking Fleer's gum. You can see that's a half a page, so we're going to cut our 10.5 by 2. We're going to call it 5.5. Fleer's gum. And we'll get into more details in a moment. Again, thanks for the tip, man. Click it once, click done, click it again. And look at that. Food, candy, and nuts, chewing gum. So there is a proper category for that. And then my personal care is going to be changed to food. Calling gum food might be a stretch. I do understand that very well. But for the purposes of this exercise, let's just go with it. All right. And we're going to change this to Fleers, I think it said, right? Oh, too many E's. Yep, Fleers. Print ad again. Why it's not a can thing, I don't know. Somebody make that change. All right, print ad. There we go. Done. Never mind the multicolor thing. I'm not even going to think about it. It does bug me because I did it for so long that I look at it. I'm like, oh, that's wrong. But as we alluded to, use what they give you. Don't create your own. They're not searchable. 1920s and 30s hats, actual hats or ads of hats. I think that's, if you have real hats, that's very cool. You do your listing at night while watching Perry Mason, Twilight Zone, and I said, there you go. Very cool. Background stuff, right? Probably episodes you've seen umpteen million times. I get that. Well, anyway, we're going to use Der Bingle, as he's known as, Bing Crosby. Anytime you can put Bing Crosby in your listing in any manner of form, whether it's a 78 record, whether it's a record, a CD, a tape, like the Christmas stuff, a print ad, you do it. You put Bing Crosby in there. Bing is a popular guy. And because Bing is a popular guy, we go up moderately on our pricing scheme. Your sleep schedule is screwed up. I'm sorry about that. Oh, 20s and 30s hats. Sheet music for Mark. Okay, yep, we got that. No, Vaughn, I was saying, vintage Vaughn, I'm sorry. Are you listing actual hats from the 20s, 30s? Hats? Or are you listing ads or pictures of hats from the 30s and 20s? Hey, Connie, how you doing? No, I'm still, I'm feeling good. Great to have you. Long time no see. Hope you're doing well. We'll listen print ads. We're not listening postcards today, but I've always argued there's a correlation. So hopefully you enjoy it. And welcome aboard. Great to see you. Happy New Year. All right, Bing. Let's check out Bing. Let's see what he's talking about. Let's get some more detail on this gum. How to Handle Parents by Der Bingle. That's funny. That's right. Parents are positively people. Try to remember that. All right, so we have Fleer's Candy Coated Peppermint Gum. We're going to get deep into that one. Fleer's Candy Coated Peppermint Gum. Bing Crosby. How to Handle Parents. That's it. We're just going to call it a day. How to handle, if we could fit parents, which is debatable. Of course we can't. How we're just going to handle parents to try to get it in. Real hats. Wow. Thank you. That's awesome to hear, Connie. I'm glad you're having a good time. Hopefully all is well health-wise. Hopefully all is well sales-wise, listing-wise. All right. Well, now you've opened up Pandora's box, Vaughn. So now you need to tell everybody how you came across 1920s and 30s hats, first of all. Where'd you get them? Some kind of a estate sale situation? You don't usually see them out in like your Goodwill. So I'm curious to hear where you got them from. Teach us a little bit about them. Are you having luck with them? Have you sold any yet? Is there a good market for them? All right, there we go. There's the Bingle. I do need to modify one thing, and that would be the width on this guy. It is half a page wide, so we're going to say 5.5. Again, I've never been called out if something is like half an inch thinner or longer or whatever. Just be as honest as you can when it comes to dimensions of this stuff. The biggest thing is don't say it's 14 by 11 and it's like 8 by 5. That could cause some grief. But, you know, a half an inch here. Uh-oh, your battery died. Sorry about that. Go charge up. All right, so the Bingle is derlisted. Bam. Knocking them down. Good luck with that one. I've sold lots of Bing Crosby related stuff. Everything I mentioned earlier, tapes, 78 records. I had a White Christmas from 1941 or 42, first year it was recorded. That sold for good money. And on a 78, I've sold Bing Crosby ads. He was hawking things for decades, like a lot of celebrities did. And what's wrong with that? A buck is a buck, after all. All right, so bye-bye to Bing. And we'll see what's next. And before I even start the next one, what am I going to do? Because we talked about this earlier, about things matching up. Let's make sure I put my dimensions back to what the full page is, which is 10.5. So don't forget. I've done that many a time. I've learned, hopefully, from my experience. Sometimes I'll make one modification like that. I'll list 50 other ads after that, forgetting that I changed it to 5.5. And then I have to go in and do some kind of bulk edit, which doesn't always work. If anybody's ever tried bulk editing descriptions, it could be a bit wonky, to say the least. So then I wind up going in one by one. Colossal waste of time. An ounce of prevention, folks. An ounce of prevention. I wonder if Flea might be interesting to baseball card collector. Yeah, Flea, of course, known for baseball cards. Your pops and estate. Your father had them. That's awesome. At estate sales, very cool. I love it. That's a nice. Is it a niche of yours that you're interested in, or you just came across a handful, or you have like a whole bunch of them? And what's the market like for them? Do they sell well? Is there a good sell through, or do they sit on your shelf for 10 years? All right. So the rest, we do have another half. You know what? Let's go to the other one because it's actually in the same category. It's certs. Right? Is it certs or lifesavers? Lifesavers, excuse me. Let's go to lifesavers, which can kind of live in the same category. And let me go back and change this to 5.5 again. And don't let me forget after this one to put it back to 10.5, or I'll be eating crow. All right, there we go. Man, is it getting cold out here. I have a little space heater. It's going back on. I had it off because of the green screen, but it's going back on. It's got to be done. Freezing my cannolis off over here. All right, we have a black and white ad for lifesavers. We're going to change the brand to lifesavers, and that's all we have to do. Which is why item specifics, one more time, don't bug me at all with print ads. I think it's time well spent getting those accurately. All right, let's pull up this ad. See what's going on. What do we got? Try this. Well, first of all, it's peppermint. I'm going to put that in there. You got these two guys snuggling up. He turns a cold shoulder like this. Are they skiing? Or are they just out in the elements? It's a nice pair of mittens that guy's sporting. And you'd like a warm shoulder like this. Try this. So basically it's saying, girls, if you have bad breath, you get the cold shoulder. Have a lifesaver, and you too could be snuggling up with this handsome guy. That's all it takes. Everybody's breath offends sometimes. Let lifesavers sweeten and freshen your breath after eating, drinking, and smoking. Etsy. Biff sold a lifesaver ad on Etsy, and the person thought they were getting a 75-year-old candy. Title print ad. I dare to say, Biff, your category was probably a print ad category, an advertising category, right? I know. It's happened to me on less than a handful of occasions, but each time I'm baffled by the stupidity of people in general. I know it's happened to Dawn Wright as well. It's probably happened to. Let me know if anybody else has had that experience of selling an ad or a piece of paper of any kind, and the person buying the advertisement thought they were getting the genuine article, because it did happen to me a couple of times. You wouldn't think people are that dumb, but unfortunately they are. All right, so we have peppermint, which is kind of cool. And maybe that's a keyword, phrase that somebody would choose. Peppo mint. Is that how they pronounce it? P-E-P-O mint. Yes, peppermint. Winter couple snuggling. Number 2 is here. Eat the hands, all the hands. What in the name of good God? Welcome aboard, man. Happy New Year to you, number 2, as well. Good to see everybody coming in. Welcome back. Again, I do apologize for the delay. Couldn't do anything about it. Out there, entertaining the country. So our fans need us, folks. All right. What else? What else we got in here that might be worthy of inclusion. Peppermint, 5 cents. Do they have a fireplace? I was going to put fireplace. What is this odd object, folks? What is that? Oh, is that just like is that the corner of a fireplace? Is that like what is that? Help me, folks. What do you see in this? Is this like a post from a fireplace? Is it a post from the edge of the chair? I can't really make out what that is. The floor is yours, folks. Karen, you sold a CD and the guy returned it because he thought he was buying an LP. Well, that's, again, assuming it was titled CD and in a CD category. But in all seriousness, that's what I was saying earlier about it can be easy from a listing perspective. If you're doing both, if you're doing CDs and cassette tapes and records and whatever, a simple mistake like that where you have two conflicting things, you might have like, the Beatles' White Album CD in your title, and then you forget you were listing a series of vinyl records prior to that. You forget to change your category to CD, or you forget to check at the bottom in the specifics that it's a CD. That can cause confusion. But if everything is matching up and everything says CD, then the buyers just do not, as we say. Gotta run. No problem, Lisa. Thank you very much. You have a great evening as well, and thanks for coming in. You think that's the handle of one of the fireplace things? Poker or broom? Okay, cool. So we're going to go fireplace. It's funny. I was going to say fireplace without actually looking because it almost looks like a glowing light and the whole snuggle thing and saying a warm shoulder sort of implies a fireplace. But again, I don't think the eBay title police will be coming after me. So let's just put, for fun, fireplace. All right. And let's call it a listing. Happy New Year to you, man. Great to have you. Hope you're doing well. You've had the CDLP mistake before, despite my title being correct and having photos of a record. Yeah, it's easy to mess that up. And again, if somebody just thought they were buying whatever and they weren't, and everything lined up, like I said, let's just use that example. They thought they were getting an LP and they got a CD. Well, if your listing says CD, if the picture is of a CD, if it's in a category that says CD, if your specific says CD and they thought it was an LP, then shame on them. But if you screwed it up, which again, I've done before, shame on us. So just double check your own work once in a while. It definitely doesn't hurt. I'm going to leave this. Let's just see if, I don't remember if Lifesavers has its own category. So I will check just for fun. Again, let's revisit this little hack here. Hit done, do it again. There you go. Lifesavers has its own. The only drawback here is now I have to put my specifics back in because I've changed the category. But you can see brand Lifesavers. eBay likes when things line up, and so do I, because that means people are going to have a better opportunity of seeing your ad or whatever you're listing, seeing whatever product you're listing for sale. And that's all I had to change. Bam. Done. Proper category. People that are Lifesavers collectors can now look for my ad in their Lifesavers section. And I have a puncher's shot at getting seen with this new listing boost that you get. List. Exactly. All things pointed to a CD, total misread. Okay, that's cool. Then that's just shame on them. I think we've all come to the conclusion long, long ago that people don't read. Don't know why that is, but it's pretty obvious. People don't read. I could see that getting mixed up though from a selling perspective. Like I said, if you're doing if you're just listing nothing but CDs for a year straight, then you should have everything in a CD category, and it should be very simple. But if you're bouncing back like I do between 78s and records and CDs and tapes and even reel-to-reels, then you just want to make sure, again, double check your work, double check that everything lines up. Your title says 78, you're in a 78 records category, your specific says 78, and you won't have any problems. Marketplace Boutique, how are you? Good to see you. Hi, everyone. You need to get back in the listing group. That's what I'm here for. We all got to get back in the listing group. It's January. Enough with the Christmas nonsense. Everything's done. It's over. We got February dawning. We got spring is like 2 months away now. Let's go. Let's rock. Shake off the car. Shake off the chills. Jody up in frigid cold Michigan. We're not far from where I just spent a week, and it was freezing to death. So shake off the cold. Shake off the cobwebs. Let's rock and roll. Let's get some listings up. Part of the motivation for doing these shows is to encourage everybody else to get some listings up. So hopefully I'm achieving that in some end. And by doing so, I'm getting my own listings up as well. All right, so there we go. That's the end of the little sized ads. No, it's not, folks. We have one more. Hires. a quite hefty, not hefty, it's a highly collected product, Hires root beer. There's a little bolo for you in the print ad world. Hires root beer. I think they have their own category. We'll validate that in just a moment. Click on select, click on collected. No, what was the trick? Shoot. Oh, I didn't hit it. I didn't hit edit. Here's our trick again to try to get the suggested back. Click edit, hit first category, hit done, hit first category again, and bam, soda Hires root beer. You always have a good shot if you're in the, if you could drill down to that level where you're an advertising soda Hires root beer. Another, friendly reminder, if you have a mug root beer ad, don't put it in the Hires root beer section. Make sure things line up. Click on the brand, bam. We're going to switch from food to beverage in my store category. This is just for my own accounting, if you will, my own bookkeeping. It comes into play a lot if I'm doing sales or something. Let's say I just want to focus on, I'm going to put all of my 1940s ads on sale, but nothing else. That's where the store categories really are worth their weight in gold, things like that. Definitely a nice touch. And again, if anybody needs help with any of that, I think I've done a video on store categories, but if I haven't and you want to see one, I'd be happy to do one. What's up, Sandy? How you doing? And an iron from the fireplace. Yes, that was an iron. Okay, you're behind. Just noticed. No problem. Biff, what is the top collectible soda? RC Cola. Correct, Biff. I mean, I don't know if it's top. I'm sure Coke is still miles ahead of everybody. Being Coca-Cola, being around for 130 years probably at this point, maybe even more. But RC Cola, don't sleep on RC Cola. Absolutely. RC has a huge following, 7-Up. All those lesser brands, if you will. Not lesser, but, lesser known, less popular. RC for sure. Hires root beer is definitely very good. RC Cola for sure. Even like your Sprites, Knee High is good. Things that are a little more scarce, that's all. Scarcity typically means higher value, right? Supply and demand, all that kind of stuff. But anyway, good to see you, Sandy. Thank you very much for coming in. Jeff, you're back. Why fix chicken cordon bleu? Oh, Mano, that's delicious. Not too full to do anything. So you could just watch and listen and rest and digest. All right, so there's our Hires ad. Let's see what's going on. We got everything lined up, right? We have Hires here. We have Hires here. We have Hires here. 3 out of 3. This one is even trimmer. This is only 3 inches wide. And again, please remind me if I don't remember to go in and go back to my 10.5 after this one. Hires root beer. Let's see what's going on. Pretty generic ad from what I recall. Drink Hires with real root juice. A good resolution. Remember, this is January of 46, so we have New Year. And there's an angle to use for some keywords. So we could do, we just passed New Year's as it is, right? New Year resolution. Bottle. Sometimes they indicate that glass bottles as opposed to the plastic that you see nowadays. Some people collect that. Who doesn't love root juice indeed? What root we're talking about, who knows? Drink Hires. What else was in there? Anything else worth mentioning? Drink Hires. Promise yourself. Let's look at this. Hires to you means pleasure for you. First time you try it, you'll enjoy that keen, distinctive taste. Real root juices. Flavor and sparkle. I do love the bottles. Ooh, there's licorice and sassafras. Florida Man Jim, right on it. Sassafras, absolutely. What did they used to call it? Before root beer? Root beer was called sarsaparilla. That might even be something we put in there. Like I'm going to spell this right. Sassafras. Long live the Google. Right click. Sassafras. Done. Good call, Jim. We both, I think, saw that at the same moment. Real juices. That doesn't fit. It's all right. Is that all your listings are print ad or postcards? Oh, do you really? You put that right at the front? Yeah, I'm again, feel free to, that's another very test-worthy thing, experiment. Playing around with titles and keywords is crucial. I've watched many a YouTuber in the past talk about this, and it really is true. Like, I don't know if it's necessarily as true for stuff like this, but like definitely in clothing, where you position your keywords, you really should be heavily weighted towards those first 20 characters, let's just call it, out of 80. That's the ones that'll show up. that are the most vital, that sort of show up on a small form factor like a phone and stuff where they might not even see the full title. So you don't want to have really important keywords buried at the back of your listing. Play with that. Try print ad first. Don't put the year, put 40s. Print ad. I don't know if anybody's searching specifically for 1946 necessarily. But again, this is just the way I've chosen to do it and had success, but nothing wrong with playing around with that. Juggle words around in your titles and see if you have any better results. Do the same, like products and list them differently. The next hires Rupia do, I don't know, like he was just saying, put print ad first, then put hires, then put, play around with the order. Trying to learn this. What is the average price per? And again, I'm sorry that heart blocks the last word of everybody's comments. So I'm going to have to wait till somebody else do something. Somebody else put hi. And then it'll move it up. There we go. What's your average price per pub? Per publication, you mean? Per magazine? Sarsaparilla was made from sarsaparilla vine, not sassafras root, like root beer. Apparently sassafras is no bueno for health, so not used anymore. But alas, in 1946, Dawn, we were all ignorant fools and drank this stuff. So, trying to learn this. Are you asking about cost per magazine? Too slow, Dawn. You were the first. Price per magazine. I was spoiled with my magazine purchases. Again, I've talked about this a while, but if you're relatively new, it bears repeating. I picked up 650 Life magazines about 424, probably 5 years ago, dare I say at this point, from a Facebook listing, Facebook Marketplace listing. They netted out to being, hold on, I'll do the exact math. Thank God for the calculator. Came out to 46 cents per issue per magazine. Then I had a second haul, quote unquote, which was a little more expensive. Let's call it maybe 75 cents, which is like another 200 or so magazines that were local to me that I picked up at the airport of all places, right near me, 15-minute drive. So let's, even if you want to round it and say 50 to 60 cents per is what I've paid traditionally. So I'm kind of spoiled by that. I think it's still reasonable if you can get them for $1 or less. Again, one ad, you can, 10, 15 times your money on the whole magazine purchase. So I think anything is reasonable. Like always, try to get bulk if it's available to you. You can drive the price down. I can't think of like a specific magazine I'd pay any high amount of money for because the magazine is all but irrelevant to me. It's the ads contained within. I don't really care if the ad came from Life or Latest Home Journal or Better Home and Gardens or Playboy. I don't care. It's the ad that sells. I'm not selling the magazine. I'm selling the ad. So I'll just say $1 and under, I think, is a steal. And you'll usually find the only time the magazine comes into play for me personally is the volume of ads contained within one. Life, especially later, is just riddled with ads. So you're going to get a lot of bang for your buck. For your $1 purchase, let's call it $1. You could easily get 50 ads from a magazine, a Life magazine, whereas maybe some lesser magazines, you won't have quite as many ads. There's a few variables, but try to keep it to $1 or under. You just like a buyer searching for the ad. What 2-3 words would they use to find your ad? Put those words in front. Yeah, and that not just ad. That goes for pretty much anything, Ralph, I think, right? You want to put the most potent keywords right up front. Kelly says, cheaper the better. You were able to get about 1,000 magazines for $3 each local. Yeah, that's still a great price. No way in hell would I pay $12 to $15 for a magazine. Although, again, in theory, one ad pays for that. But if you're buying in bulk, there's no way I'm paying, north of $10 per magazine. No way at all. No way at all. Because I've done it successfully at a fraction of that. I guess that's a big thing too. If availability is a key component here, if you don't have access to, I know Dawn has talked to me before about, she doesn't have access to the really older magazines that I was lucky enough to come across at estate sales, like pre-1920. She said, it's just hard to find by her, and that's probably very true. So there's a geographical component, what availability is out there, what sort of sourcing opportunities there are in your area. I would also argue, feel free to get out of your area once in a while. Take a ride, especially when the weather gets nicer again. You would take a ride. I have no problem, has been proven many times over. I'll drive 2-3 hours easily. I'd love to get up to Massachusetts to the legendary flea market. That's probably a solid 6-hour drive for me, but I would do it in a heartbeat. If there's opportunities out there, I like to do that. So I don't use that as an excuse within reason. I understand everybody has limitations and all, but if you have mobility and a way to get to and fro, nothing wrong. If you live in a sleepy little town and you just don't think you have access to the really good stuff, no matter what that stuff is, then venture out a little bit, take a ride, use your computer, look up flea markets near me, and then do like 100-mile radius or whatever's comfortable for you, and get out there and go to where the stuff is. Like we go to where the show, we play where the shows are. We play where the demand is. I don't care where it is. I'm not going to say, oh, there's no shows by me, so I'm not going to play. Again, provided all things being equal, provided you have the means and the ability to get out, there's a lot of variables. I'm just saying in general. I know a lot of people are kind of stuck with their area and what they have. Dawn is just lazy. Oh, whoa. Canadian Civil War going on here? What's with the name calling, man? I'm just fooling around. Ken has been seeing big sellers who do not list the magazine name or month. If that, so folks can't go find the mag and find it cheaper at the ad. Have you experimented with this? I have not, Ken. I'm not saying it's a wrong thing to do. I really love to be transparent about where it comes from because I've had a lot of success with people that search specifically for certain months, certain years. A lot of times it's correlates to like either their birthday or a family member's birthday. I've had like messages sent to me after somebody's purchased something. I was born in January of 1956. Do you have a magazine that has that issue? And they'd love to see the stamp on it, on the footer or the header of the magazine. So I haven't had any problem with that as far as people finding the same thing or searching for another Life magazine from my issue. No, I think there's enough out there to that people have a choice. Hey, Charles, how you doing? But I know for a fact, Ken, that people will often search for specific issues of magazines. They're looking for them. And they might even have a search to that end. They might search, 1946 Life magazine. And even drill down to a month. Plus, they might certainly search for like Christmas issues, November, December, Halloween, October. So they'll put October 1943. Definitely for my forte or my favorite period is the World War II stuff, ads-wise. So I definitely want to be out there and say that this is from December 1943 so that the World War II people can find it. What's up, Charles? Great to have you. Happy New Year to you. All right, let's list this one. Call's just bugging you. All right. And what did I say to remind me of, folks? Let's go down. Let's take out that 3 and make it a 10.5. All's well in the world again. Okay. Just a handful left. And we'll just go in order here. This is one of the items that somebody mentioned earlier about, did you ever have trouble with people thinking they were buying the item instead of the advertisement for the item? Well, many moons ago, not that many moons ago, I had an ad for a typewriter. I think it was from like 1905 typewriter. The thing was the size of like a building. Put all the specifics in, said 1905 issue of Ladies Home Journal. I do think it was. Ad measures 8x5, yada, yada, yada. Somebody all pissed, bought it. They didn't return or anything. They bought it, then asked me to cancel. They thought they were buying a 1905 typewriter. That weighs 7 ounces, by the way, because that's another thing that they could check. And, for $15. But alas, no, it was an ad. So instead of getting frustrated and going back and forth with them, I said, okay, and canceled it for them and just shook my head and laughed at their stupidity. That's all there was to it. But typewriter is one of the things that I got burnt with somebody thinking they were buying a typewriter instead of an ad for a typewriter. But as you see, just as I build this from scratch, it does say print ad, right? This is one of the items I struggle with finding a accurate category for because there is no typewriter category. There is look, if we do, let's do the trick first and see if maybe it's become more sophisticated. Go edit, double click, or click, done. First category again. You see how this is what it's telling me suggested, and this is what I keep experiencing. This is the black hole, right? Just advertising 1940 to 49. Good luck with that. Is anybody searching advertising 1940? I guess there is a handful of people that'll just want to collect things from a decade or whatever. That's fine. Other collectible ads, also sort of a black hole, very generic. You're not going to really find anything. Typewriters just don't have a home. So in this one, what I'm going to do is advertise it. I'm going to try to find something that I think, like, is it sort of a computer to an extent? Not really. But I guess you could sort of argue that a typewriter is a computing thing. Okay, Kelly, I'll check that out in a minute, man. So that was one of my thoughts. Maybe I'll put it in computer and high tech. I mean, is a typewriter high tech? For the time it was. So anyway, long story short, what I've been doing is putting into other household ads, because I guess it is a household item at the end of the day. But it's just one of the ones I'm very annoyed by, that they don't have a category for typewriter. Other collectible, you don't think of sold it. Yeah, and as we just talked about, Biff, I think it's because it's kind of buried in these ambiguous, generic categories. So I have mine in household. And even within, I don't have a typewriter category because I just have enough ads to warrant it. Maybe I should create one, but this is just for my store categories. You know, I could go household. I could go, I guess, electronics if it's an electric typewriter, but this is not an electric typewriter in 1946, I don't believe. I could look at it like electronics, computing. So I'm going to go household items in my store category as well. Exactly, the brand name, or in my case, Royal. Right, Smith Corona. There's definitely collectors of it because I've sold typewriter ads, but I don't know how they, to your point, I don't know how the hell they found them because they're buried in these ridiculous generic categories. Other house, I don't even like that one, but I think it's better than all advertising from 1940 to 1949. You know, talk about a needle in the haystack kind of search. Dear boss, the girls wish me to say, okay, let's see what this says. We'll see what this says. No, let's go into a category first. I mean, not a category. Let's go into a, excuse me, high as rupee. See how I left that? We're going to change that to Royal. Don't want to have the confusion. Change this to a print ad. And that's as simple as that as far as the categories go. Let's take a look at this image a little blown up. Yeah, you can see it's certainly not electric. It's a very manual typewriter. Still effective. Magic and touch control are registered trademarks of Royal Typewriter. Ribbon changes. Who remembers doing this? I hated changing ribbons. When I started working in Manhattan, many people still use typewriters. In fact, most people use typewriters in like 86. Hey, Lori, there she is. How you doing? Welcome aboard. Great to have you. Happy New Year, Lori. Hope you're doing well. I heard you were just cooking and packing and shipping. Dear boss, the girls wish me to say, we think you're tops. For keeping your problem. Ooh, we got a war reference. Ding, 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 ding. For buying us beautiful new Royal typewriters now that they're back again. So here's one of those items, and this you see a lot of time also. Certain companies would stop producing what they were known for and use their abilities in, you know, the war effort. So example I always use is like the car companies started building engines, let's say, for planes instead. And that's one of the reasons I love those ads, because I love that cross existence sort of between like companies, motor companies building boat engines, building, you know, like I said, tanks, things like that, getting out of their typically known space. I think that just makes for a more attractive ad too, because it's scarce, right? So here's a case. It looks like Royal was out of commission for a while during the war, and that's what this speaks to. Right? They waited, and now they're back. It's 1946, January. The war is over for 8 months, and now they're back in the business of doing what they do best, which is the world's #1 typewriter, right? But we could do like, see, this is what I'm gonna do. Post-war. I'm gonna put rations because they stopped producing. Post-war. Secretaries, boss, office work. Good. Dawn has a bunch of typewriter ads. You've only sold a couple. Yeah, I haven't sold a whole bunch. And I really think this is one of the reasons. I think that the listings themselves are kind of hard to find. And I wish there was more, a more specific category we could put these things in, more effective category. It's Mark's turn in the kitchen. Okay, very good. So you come out and hang out now. Very good, very good. Hold on to the hope. All right. Think that's good. And I also do price these up slightly because when they do sell, they usually sell for a premium, the typewriter ads. And Royal was the number one after all. So we got the post-war reference. So I think that warrants a couple extra bucks. All listings are hard to find via eBay search. Yeah, that's probably true to an extent too. You have to find, and this is going to sound like a contradiction of terms, you have to find a savvy buyer, somebody who knows how to search on eBay properly. But I really think we should all, pretty much without fail, build your listings for a dummy. Dummies for listings for dummies, the books categories. Really, like most buyers, and maybe I'm making a broad assumption here, but most buyers aren't that savvy. Most people are just sitting there, and nowadays it's always on their phone, picking their nose and going, "Oh, I want a CD." Da, 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 da. And they're very, very high level searches, I think, for the most part. And then, of course, you're going to have collectors, which is kind of what the printed thing is really focused towards, and postcards. Collectors who probably are a lot more savvy. But in general, build your listings for a dumb user, for a very basic, high level search, and then hope that you can, be in the game for those people, because that's where the vast majority, I think, of people are coming from. The most amount of buyers are just generic, people searching for very basic things, especially when it comes to clothing. I want a Nike sweatshirt. They're going to type Nike sweatshirt. They're not going to. So that's, again, with clothes, it's a little more sophisticated, if you will, as far as like the science behind how you're going to separate yourself from 2 million other Nike sweatshirt listings. But those things are all important. And when it comes to this typewriter, I don't know how many people are going to search for a typewriter ad. And if you are searching for a typewriter ad, you probably are going to be pretty specific and say, I want a Royal typewriter. And I think things like this post-war and stuff are cool, potent keywords to use to try to bring your ad out from the abyss that is, generic categories. And that's what I think. List it. Helps us OB flip it. Help us OB flip it. Your only hope. With what? Well, leave a thumbs up and you get a sale. Everybody leave that thumbs up. Let me see. I haven't refreshed my screen. Where are we? Where are we with thumbs up? Everybody slacking? Too full? Too happy? No, we have almost an equal number of likes to watch us. So thank you very much, everybody. I really do appreciate that. Seriously. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. If you haven't left a thumbs up, I would be honored if you would consider leaving one before you go or while you're watching. Thanks for reminding me. Okay. Thank you, Lori. Thank you for hitting the thumbs up. Okay. We have a couple left, and then we're at 10 to 9 already. Wow. It's flying by tonight. First one in a while, and it's flying by. It's like riding a bike. Get right back on. And typewriter ad is done. What else we got? Goodbye, Mr. Boss. What's next? We have a male chauvinist ad for all you fans. Enzo the Picker. What's up, man? Are you coming on regularly? I hope to. I always want to. I was away, and welcome and Happy New Year to Enzo. I was away for the better part of the last 3 weeks on a tour with my band in the Midwest. Just got home very early, 3 a.m. on Sunday morning, Saturday night. And here I am. So I don't have anything. We don't have another show until February 2nd or 3rd, as of right now. So I have a week and a half or so. I should be available and doing some live. I'm going to definitely do a video tomorrow per request for a couple of people about how to set up a certain scanner that I use that other people have. And I'm always open if anybody has any suggestions or requests to do videos on any topics, let me know. I really do appreciate that because it makes it so much easier than trying to think of your own. If somebody says, hey, I would like to learn this, so would I. Well, then there you go. If I know it and I can help, I'm happy to do them. Here's the male chauvinist ad of the day. This is for the swell soap known as Swan. Got the first use of the word swell tonight. Swan soap. Gonna do the trick again. We're gonna go edit. Soap has its own category. See that has its benefits, unlike typewriters. First category done. First category, soap and detergent. I think we'll go, let's see if this is detergent or soap. Yeah, we'll go soap and detergent. What the heck? Charles, how are sales? And since I arrived late, we had the unusual weather. Something is warming up here in southern Indiana. I was just in southern Indiana, Charles. We played in Evansville, which is extreme southwest Indiana. Just played a show there on Friday night. It was cold. It was black ice is my nemesis. I did take a header on some black ice outside. We won't discuss that. Scratched up my knee. Could have been much, much worse. And sales are okay. What's up, Davis? How you doing? Male chauvinist? Yeah. It's always a good time for a male chauvinistic ad, isn't it? Good to have you, Davis. Charles, you anywhere near Evansville? That's where we played. All right. We'll put personal care products in my store category. Cool. Then I probably drove right past you. That was a hike. That's where we drove home from, was Evansville. It took me like 13 hours to get home. We also encountered some snow on the ride, which made everybody drive 40 miles an hour, which will definitely increase the length of time you're going to be on the road. All right. Swan is our brand. The type of advertising would be a print ad. Let's take a look at this guy. In all its chauvinistic glory. I don't know if it's necessarily chauvinistic, but should husbands help around the house? Opinions vary on this popular question, as these 6 interviews show. This young matron is against it, despite being standing there in a bra. Pretty risque for 1946, don't you say? The ex-serviceman wants to spend time with his baby, of course. Duncan Jr. is his favorite job. No, says the bachelor, who just wants to smoke a pipe in a bath, as one does. Speaking of smoking pipes, certainly, says the married career gal. His and hers aprons. Yes and no, says mother of 2. My husband won't let me touch any heavy jobs. Perish the thought. Unlike Mark's wife, who he's got out shoveling every night. And you bet, says the newlywed. So you can see the tide is, we're shifting. We're post-war now. But Swan is indeed 4 swell soaps in one. And there's post-toasties. Cornflakes. That's an ad I have many of. And that would be grape nuts, folks. My favorite cereal. No, I don't think we've ever talked about it. Do enlighten us, Lori. You picked up Carl picked up a bunch of postcards with that yellow album tape on the corner. Should you use them as fire starters? You mean fire starters? Kindle. Tell us about it, Lori. Now, would you say this is necessary? I don't know. I might have jumped the gun. Is this really male chauvinistic, or is it actually the tide turning slightly? What do you guys think? If you look at it, there's not. Oh yeah, this douchebag here, the bachelor with the pipe. You don't want him helping out with your house stuff, gals. You don't want him helping. Keep this guy away. The matron is ironically against it. But most of the guys seem pretty with it. They're like, sure, it's a swell idea. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. I think this is kind of a tide turning sort of an ad. What do you think? Dawn is always up on this stuff. What do you think, Dawn? It's not really chauvinistic. It's actually an attempt to mitigate chauvinism, I would argue. There's a conversation. I like these kind of ads. The conversation starters. God bless peanuts, by the way. And I cannot, if I have never spoken about these before, Kirkland, which is Costco, Superstore thing. I don't know what they have in Canada, but it's probably similar. This would be super extra large peanuts, roasted and salted, Virginia variety. The key phrase, extra crunchy. Some of the most delicious peanuts you'll ever eat, right here. Really, really good. Addictive, too. No, it's not a Dawn as a girl. Dawn is always up on these like social issue things. She has a very strong stance on most of them, so I'm curious to see what she thinks. Over to you, Dawn. I would argue it's pushing civilization away from chauvinism. Just a warning is what it is. That's a good way to look at it. Oh, Biff, they go down so easily. Scarily easily, man. Ice cold drink. And you have Costco in Canada. Okay. What do the people say? Should husbands help around the house? While we argue this or discuss this, let me just... It's actually a really simple one to write up to. Should... Just going to take what the good Lord gives us, and we're just going to retype the text of the ad, because I think that's cool enough. Lori says she was working on watching all the Best Picture Award winning movies in the 60s. Okay. I offer free returns, Kelly, and I never get any. And I offer 60-day free returns, which supposedly gives you you get the top rated plus on any listings that you do like that, and supposedly offers you preferred search results. All right, very good. Just wanted to know, Dawn. Yeah, it is of its time, but do you agree a little bit? It's turning the tide slightly. Having the servicemen, especially, right on the heels of the war and all, saying it's great. Sure, help around the house. This guy out shopping, and if you look, the majority pretty much says, yeah. 60 days. I do, Kelly. Seriously, I never get returns, man. If you're going to get a return, you're going to get it as soon as they receive it. They're not going to, in most cases, on day 59, you're not going to get a return. So be bold and offer the returns, and it just makes you look very confident from a business perspective. I think if I'm buying something and somebody's that confident in that product, I might be more apt to buy from them. It supposedly gives you higher search placement too. Yeah, I've had 60-day free return for years, actually. Never had a problem. I haven't had any returns in ephemera at all. Now, clothing, of course, you're going to get more returns. There's people that absolutely borrow stuff and then return it. But even that, I don't care. As long as they don't damage or anything. If they just return it and says it doesn't fit, no problem. Send it back. I resell it. Price. I forgot to move this price down, but so what? We also always accept offers. I should say we don't always accept offers. We always allow offers. There is a distinction there. I think it's 30, Todd, but I just go the extra mile. I'm pretty sure 30. Actually, just free. It might even be. We could look into eBay, but I'm pretty sure free returns unto itself gets you to that. And then the time thing is just, I think it's a placement statistic. Like 60 days later, you get slightly higher placement, supposedly. Like all things being equal, if that's a separator, you could get pushed up. 30 days, says Lori. 30 days, says CJ. Perfect. And you guys can tell me your experiences, whether you offer that or not. But I don't get returns. Hopefully you guys don't either. Kelly, you sell thousands of postcards. You get postcards returned? You get returns opened on postcards? It's a very rare thing, I think, in our ephemera niche. Very rare. Unless you just blatantly screw up. I mean, then I deserve a return. But if, most people that are buying these things are very specific. They know what they want, and they're happy to make their purchase. Not going to say, hey, unless you get the idiot, like we said, that thought they were buying a typewriter from 1905 for $15 that weighs 7 ounces. Good thing for me on that one real moron was that all she did was pay for it. It was like intraday. Like a couple hours later, she noticed it and then asked me to cancel it. That was fine. You sell clothing that's hard goods, so you're not going there. Yeah, clothing, like I said, is slightly different. I would still, I don't fear returns though, because I know it's just a part and parcel of doing business with clothing, especially now that I have the new store. But again, provided they don't mess it up or stain it or lie blatantly about it, I really don't care. Send it back and I'll sell it again. If you sold it once, you can sell it again. I don't want to make a habit of returns. Yeah, one a year, Kelly. So that's what I'm saying. So why not give yourself a little advantage potentially by offering them and putting them up there? You get the top rated plus. I think just it just looks good for a perspective from a buyer's perspective. If they see that you offer these returns, it's like, wow. I mean, again, I've never had a postcard return. I've never had a print ad return, save for one, which we've talked about. And the only reason it was returned was because the woman, I think I saved a copy of it. The woman said in the comment, I love this ad. Unfortunately, my husband doesn't, and he told me to return it. That was the only return I've ever had on a print ad. And I've never had any other piece of paper return. I've never had a postcard return. Never had any other paper I've sold return, stamps, anything. Exactly. People don't return postcards. One of the advantages of, Kelly has this fantastic new duplex scanner. I know a lot of us probably use the duplex scanners. They're very, very transparent. Those scans, you can see every little minute. Postcards can be banged up, nicked, little microscopic slices. It's all very evident when you use these scanners. These buyers, if they want to get picky, can look at everything. So there's no way they're going to say, I didn't know that there was a stain in the top left or whatever. You still have returns on hard goods. Well, that's different. Yeah, hard goods, electronics is a nightmare with some of that stuff. There's a lot of scamming again. There's always pros and cons to everything. One of the cons about paper is it has a very traditionally and generally speaking, a very, very slow sell-through rate relative to a lot of other products. Electronics fly off the shelves, but the return rate's insane. The scam rate is insane. People aren't going to scam you out of print ads and postcards, So there's a safety built in, very little to no returns. And again, unfortunately, the downside is they just don't fly off the shelves, which is why you have to have quantity, which is what Kelly subscribes to. And it's a balancing act, right? Just find what you like. Dabble a bunch of different things. Find your niche. Karen says post office is just rate ground advantage rate. Really, I'm not sure. First class mail. Do you know what it's a size thing, Kelly? Like Karen, excuse me, the size of the ad of the envelope? Because I do have the largest envelopes I have are I think they're 18 inches tall for the really tall magazine things, 18 by 11. Yeah. Oh, flat rate, you're saying. I'll look it up. It's the new year, so the post office is going to do something. That is usually not good if you sell. Did I list this already, folks? Did I hit submit on this one? 12 by 15 and a quarter to 3/4 inch thick. Yeah, my largest form factor ads, I think they're all ladies' home journals. They're from like the 1905 to World War One-ish. Those World War One ads we were listing were all like 16 by 11. That 2 inches makes a big difference. They don't fit in my traditional flat. The envelopes that I use all the time, the cardboard, the non-bendable mailers. So I bought like 100 pack or something of the really large ones, up to 13 ounces. Yeah, I've mailed. Kelly can tell you because he bought a bunch of ads from me when I was doing the ads on Whatnot. You could fit tons of ads. Not tons, but you could fit like 20 ads and still be well under a pound. Probably 50 ads and be under a pound. Even with the mailer that I use. All right, let me list this one. But thanks for bringing that up, Karen, because actually I didn't look at usually I'll check out the post office site once in a while and see if things are changing. And you'll usually notice or get a message from eBay, right? Effective on so-and-so day. I think was it true standard envelope is going up slightly too? I think it's like 64 cents now instead of 63. I don't even know what's the thought process of a penny increase. You've been so impressed by the big mails. Yep, they never get bent. Again, I've never had one issue with that. I remember early on I got a lot of pushback about that. Like, what if they stuff them in the mailbox or whatever? They're not again, I've sold many, many, many of them, and I've never had one problem with anybody saying that they stuffed my non-bendable mailers in a mailbox. They always treat them with dignity. It's understood by the type of product it is, the type of packaging it is, that they're not to be bent. 64 cents. Yeah, exactly. I think it just went up for standard envelope today. So a penny. I guess if you multiply that out, a penny times how many tens of thousands, I don't know, millions of packages a day, it probably adds up. You shipped something priority and it was cheap, really. Douglas has showed up late. Welcome, Douglas. No problem. Thanks for coming in anyway. Appreciate it. We're going to hang out. I have 2 ads left, so you have a couple of minutes anyway. You finished your first box of 100 large mails. No problem. Yep. No issues at all. Let's do the easy one. We'll finish off with an interesting one. This is tobacco. Lucky Strike. There's tons of ads that look just like this. It's like a farmer or something. Tobacco farmer with a giant leaf. I have a lot of these ads. Slight deviations on the farmer himself, but it's basically the same thing. Lucky Strikes, cigarettes. One of those categories you'll see. There is a cigarette category, but it's for cigarettes. It's not for advertising. There is no advertising cigarettes category, much to my chagrin. It's another one that frustrates me. I mean, you would really think they would have that, but they don't. Don't know why. You see collectibles, tobacco, cigarettes, but that is for actual cigarettes, actual cigarette paraphernalia, tobacco paraphernalia, pipes, things like that. They have actual categories, but this is not for advertising. So then shame on me. If I put this ad in here, theoretically, this is not a cigarette that I'm selling or a cigarette product. I'm selling an advertisement. But this really does annoy me, folks, because when I started, I would put it right in here and thinking, oh, great. And same thing like we spoke about earlier about the typewriters. None of my ads were selling. Like, why none of my ads selling? Because the people that are looking for cigarettes or actual, cigarette devices or whatever, smoking paraphernalia, aren't going to be looking for my ads or vice versa. So this is one of the ones that annoys me. And again, I will never list in this generic black hole of everything advertising for a 10-year period. So let's go to, what have I been settling on? I think I just put other collectible. You have to keep checking to make sure you don't screw up. Under $7. Where was it going? Is it somewhere relatively local to you? Now, in my store category, I absolutely have a cigarette category. Cigarette and tobacco. I put pipe ads in there. Put tobacco, proper tobacco ads. I put cigar ads in there, of which there are many. Lucky Strike means fine tobacco. Fine tobacco. Farmer. Overalls. Keyword. Guys wearing overalls. Davis S. Marty, you look younger as time going on. Really consider marketing the recipe for youth. Gotta run. Why, thank you very much. My birthday is Sunday, and I guarantee I'm not getting younger. But who amongst us is? But thanks for that comment, I guess. Thank you. Your cigarette ads are an other, probably why they sell slowly for me. Yeah, exactly. And that's, again, something to really either experiment, like Kelly was talking about earlier, like you could experiment with different things, try to find a rationale behind this stuff and like what's the best option. Play around with things. List, like I said, take 10 cigarette ads and list them in 10 different categories and see which one has the most hits for you, if you will. I think that's the only way around this stuff. You kind of just have to play around with it and give you, whatever eBay gives us or pushes towards us, try to use those. But I agree totally. If you throw it in other and stuff, I hate to do it. And here it is, other collectibles, because you're in a huge pool with a million other things, right? I like to try to be as specific as possible when it's possible. Anyway, there's a cigarette ad. And again, don't forget, I need to add this. You want the consistency with the title, with the brand, and with the item specific. Like if this ideally said Lucky Strike cigarettes, you'd want that to mirror what we just did. Print ad. Seen a bunch of videos saying top rated doesn't matter. Got top rated sell 3 days ago. My sales are up 7%. Yeah, you absolutely first of all, you get a 10% discount off final value fees, which is unto itself a huge savings. You do get preferred placement. I don't think it has the impact it used to have. I used to love when you had your little gold, you can still see it sometimes, the gold ribbon, top rated or whatever. It used to show that right on the listing. I thought that made it kind of jump out, They took that away a couple of years ago. I don't know why. It was one of the stupid little things I really enjoyed. But knock on wood, again, I've pretty much always been top rated since they started it. A lot of the reason is because of the types of stuff I sell, and a lot of us that are on the show sell the paper and stuff. There just aren't returns in this thing. There aren't defects usually. To be honest with you, the biggest offender as far as defects right now is the standard envelope stuff, where on occasion the stuff just doesn't get there. And Kelly could probably speak to that. Mark could definitely speak to that. Mark does great videos. Mark at SM Postcards does videos, I think, every month about the statistics for eBay standard envelope and how he sees it and how many are lost in the mail, blah, 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 blah. So, you get what you pay for to an extent. We're paying 64 cents now. So it's an ultra cheap way to ship. And it just becomes one of those things where the majority of the time they get there and the cost saving outweighs the potential risk of them being lost. But anyway, that's the one. The only defect I can really think of is when usually for me is if it comes to a standard envelope thing not arriving. And even that, they still have you back to an extent. Put the tracking in there and away you go. Oh, it's a huge bargain, Biff. Absolutely. Top rated doesn't mean anything unless you're not top rated. Maybe. You get a discount on final value fees, so there's a monetary component to it. You sell lots of trading cards. You have 1 or 2 a month that go missing. It's very frustrating. It certainly is, but I mean, again, that's how you control, right? You do all your due diligence. You ship when you say you're going to ship. You ship on time. You ship safely. It's out of your hands. That's the one unfortunate thing. We definitely hand over our goods to the post office or whatever shipping service we use, and when it's out of your hands, it can be frustrating, and because of course they don't have to usually deal with the outcome. You have to deal with an irate customer or whatever. And again, there's a whole science to that. Deal with them professionally, even if they're screaming and yelling at you, stand your ground. You shipped it. Here's the tracking number. I apologize for the delay. The post office is overwhelmed at Christmas time. I used to write a couple of years ago. It was becoming an epidemic with the stuff getting lost at Christmas time, but just don't take it personally. They're not attacking you. A really good thing I learned years ago was for most buyers, they don't really identify the purchases as being from you, quote unquote, or a specific seller. They think eBay. They think about it when you go on Amazon. Everybody buys stuff on Amazon all the time. It's the same thing. It's just sellers like you and I. And of course, there's companies, but a lot of stuff you buy is just Joe Schmo selling CDs out of their house or whatever, right? But you think I bought this on Amazon. But Amazon, of course, has set the bar when it comes to returns and ease of returns, and they give you money back in a heartbeat. There's no issues. They put service at such a high level. eBay can only imagine trying to get back to that because eBay used to be the standard. But anyway, I think most buyers think they're buying from eBay, not from Jiminy Flip It, or Enzo. Enzo, I do not sell any baseball cards. I don't have any baseball cards for sale. I really don't have a lot of knowledge about that. I know it's a popular niche, all the sports card stuff. I think it's peaked sort of from what I've read. There's kind of coming back to earth again. Some of the pricing was outlandish. But I really don't know much about baseball cards. I love baseball, and I used to love playing with baseball cards as a kid, but I never got into the buying and selling of them. All right. Kelly's quest to find Biff is complete. That's a good thing. All right, let's list this cigarette ad, and then we'll do one more, and we'll call it a night. It is 9:15 already. So we got a solid 2-hour, 15-minute show in the books for the comeback. List this one. And we will finish off tonight's festivities with an ad for a movie. I love some of these ads could be outrageously cool, depending on the movie. I use this analogy a lot. If you have like a 1939 magazine that talks about the new upcoming film, The Wizard of Oz, or name your film, name your iconic film, Godfather ads or something like that, pre-release. They are highly sought after. A lot of movie buffs, a lot of movie collectors, a lot of Hollywood collectors. This one is a movie called Kitty. I am not familiar with it, but I am definitely not a movie guy. What's up, Memphis Blazer? How you doing, man? I was also in your neck of the woods. I drove right past Memphis when we came out of Little Rock, driving to Indiana. We went right by. I was in West Memphis, which I guess is across the river. But good to see you, man. Hope you're doing well, Steve. You're not out there, Kelly. I can't hide forever, but keep my traffic pure. No problem. All right, so this film is called Kitty. What I do for these, this is kind of unique. Kitty motion picture, I think, is what I've been using. And then basically what we're going to do is we're going to try to find a appropriate category for it, and then we're going to try to highlight the stars of the film. Because there are absolutely people that collect Movie memorabilia, certainly, and maybe specific actresses, specific actors, specific films, specific genres of film. You name it, people collect it. How do we do this again? First category. There we go. Here we go. Awesome category. Excuse me, choking. It's been a while since I've choked. Here's my category. Entertainment memorabilia, movie memorabilia, ads, which is this is, flyers, 1940 to 49. So that puts us in a good space. We're not in some kind of generic category like other ads or whatever, right? It's sort of drilled down. We're in the movie memorabilia ads of the 40s. I'll take that. I will definitely take that. Movie star and films is my internal category for store. It's original U.S. and you can see how easy. Look at that. That's it for the specifics on this one. Now, I don't know anything about this movie. If we have any movie buffs out there, please enlighten me and enlighten the crowd. But I usually put it up a little bit because it's fairly unique. This film is called Kitty. Let's see who it stars. Paulette Goddard and Ray Milland, Mitchell Lyson film. So you look for any like renowned, like if that said Cecil B. DeMille, I would throw that in there, but it doesn't. Provocative, tantalizing, tempting. All right, that's the image out of the pages of the daring novel. All right, so it's a novel that's been made for film. Double Jiminy Dust if you click the like while he's choking. That's funny. And quintuple if you provide me with a Heimlich maneuver and save my life. All right. Yep. So anyway, let's just put in, I guess, the stars of the film. Does anybody know anything about this film? Does anybody know? I mean, I've heard of both of these people, but I couldn't tell you what movies they were in. And since Paulette seems to be getting first billing, we'll follow through with that same philosophy here and put Paulette, Goddard, Ray Milland. There you go. You would put GGA as a keyword. It's, shoot, sorry, Biff, again. Heart is blocking the word after it's. So I'm going to write hi. It's close enough to a pinup. GGA. What does GGA mean? I don't know what GGA means. Yeah, it's sort of a pinup. She's definitely dolled up, that's for sure. I don't know what GGA. Does anybody know what GGA means? Good girl art. Interesting. I've not heard that term. Anybody else concur with Biff on this one? It's just a term I'm not familiar with. And if so, do you think it's appropriate for this ad? I'll gladly add it because we still have a lot of characters to play with here. But yeah, Steve, I was in your territory, man. And it was cold down there too. What's up with this? I couldn't get out of the winter last week. I thought, oh, I'm going south. It's going to be nice and warm in Little Rock. No, it snowed. And I was actually sitting in the hotel in on the Missouri side watching Memphis local news on Thursday morning, I think it was. Anybody else going with this good girl art thing? Let me know. Absolutely, absolutely not. I'd appreciate any feedback. Because otherwise, that's pretty much it with this one. Yep, I do, Enzo. Not on everything. Postcards I don't sell internationally. I don't have it turned on. I might change that in the future. Because almost without fail, I think a lot of us can speak to this. I just sell domestic postcards for the most part. I do have some European, but not many. I'm not against selling internationally. I used to use the global shipping for a long time. A color illustration depicting an attractive young woman, usually in skimpy or form-fitting clothing and designed for erotic stimulation. Hey now. Do we think this is GGA worthy? It does literally say provocative, tantalizing, tempting in the description of the movie. I'll put it in. Thanks for that, man. Thanks for Biff, and thank you, Enzo. You usually add the director's name. Oh yeah, that's a great point. Absolutely, that's what I was saying before, like Cecil B. DeMille. But I totally agree with the studio. So let's see what the studio is for this one. Thank you. That's a good call there. Outlaw Films probably knows a thing or two. It's a Paramount picture. I was gonna say, where the hell is that? There it is. A Paramount picture. So we'll go Paramount. I'll just go with Paramount. No pictures because I already have. Mark says a completely do tell, Mark. Do tell. Do we have a disconnect here with this term? And I promise this is the last candy cane I will be inhaling live on TV. Talk to me, Mark. What do you got? Not going to pull the trigger unless everybody agrees. It's good to know, though. I've never even heard that term, and it sounds like it's a pretty good, effective term to use when applicable. Otherwise, the rest of it, as you see, is pretty standard. Used mostly with comic books. Interesting. Okay. So what do you think, Mark? You think it's really not applicable here? And it's a great point that Mark makes, because I don't want to attract a comic book crowd necessarily to this print ad. Obviously, right? It has there will be no interest from, I would think. Yeah, pinup I've certainly heard, but I don't think this is a pinup. A pinup is usually a girl alone, laying in a thing of hay or something. Yeah. All right. We'll just I'm just going to leave it as is. The picture does tell the story pretty much. That's all you need right there. Bam. How about what do you call those? Handheld fan. Not enough characters for that. I think we're going to leave it as it is. And we're going to list it. And we are going to create similar, even though we're all done, because I'll have the basis for my next print ad, whatever that may be. I think I'm going to go back to if you guys watched in the beginning of the show, I told you I got these 10 or 11 ads from an issue of a magazine I already had a bunch of ads listed with, that I just kind of saved the innards of that magazine in a white bag. And I figured, I haven't looked at this in a while. And sure enough, I found these 11 ads. They were kind of cast aside. I was actually thinking of doing all that kind of stuff on Whatnot, but now I'm listing them. All right, so we will save this for later. And we will get out of our screen share, and we will go full on this one. Welcome again, everybody. Green screen issues. I must have moved the camera a little bit, but howdy all. A lot of fun tonight. Thanks again for everybody for coming out. I know it's been a long time. I apologize, but I'm glad we got to hang out again tonight. I had a lot of fun. I hope you did too. Hope you learned something. I'm going to work on that video for those who requested tomorrow morning. I'll get the video about setting up the scanner, kind of just some of the facilities within it and how you could tweak things. And again, if anybody has any requests, leave a comment in one of the videos on YouTube. I always look and respond to all of them, obviously. Otherwise, today is Monday, right? My birthday is on Sunday. Not because I'm asking anybody to say happy birthday, because I won't have any issues with shows. My daughter's birthday is the next day on Monday, but I'm still going to do a show because she's going out with a boyfriend. She's all grown up. But Saturday, we're going to go out together and celebrate. So Friday night, I was going to preface all this with Friday night. Am I doing anything? Friday, I should be golden. So Friday, we'll come back on and we'll chat and we'll see what's going on. I hope you have a great week. Stay warm, stay safe, and I'll see you on Friday night. Thanks, everyone, for coming in. Happy New Year. Let's roll. Talk to you later.